Hey, Bob.
Hey there.
I barely hear you. Might be me.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
So we're early. So, Bob, I'm gonna start making you a co-host and then I'll make you a host, okay?
Okay. Yeah, make Donna the host and Mia co-host.
Okay.
Yeah.
But shouldn't you be the host, right? Because this is your meeting.
Yeah, it's just she's better at it, at least in terms of
Oh, I see. Keeping
around.
everything together and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's very helpful. So that's the way we've been doing it. It makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, that's good. I thought I was gonna have to, I didn't know if I was gonna do the meeting from home or not. I said, if I do the meeting from home, I'm going to sit in front of my fridge so you could see all my magnets and pictures too. Lower all attendees' hands. Let me mute myself. Hi, Donna. I'm gonna make you a host as per Bob.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good meeting.
Thanks.
One more thing. Can you make Carter a co-host as well?
So, okay, so then I have to hang on then, because I just made her a host.
Oh, I can
Oh,
do
no,
it.
Donna has to do it now because I gave her the host powers, so now I
Sounds
can't do
good.
it.
Thanks.
I'll
That's
do it.
perfect.
I just realized that. Okay, have a good meeting, guys.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're good. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes here. We're still waiting on a few community board members, and just bear with us and we'll be ready to start here very soon. Katie, you want to check your volume?
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start. Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Ely. I am a co-chair of our SLA committee at Community Board 2. Tonight's meeting is our SLA 2 meeting. My co-chair, Donna Rafferty, is with us tonight, as well as other members of our committee, Katie Bodenaro, Susan Kent, Dr. Shirley Smith, and we will have other members join us. We also have members Brian Pape and Valerie Della Rosa with us tonight. I am going to start out tonight's meeting with just a brief overview of our agenda. Our agenda tonight is posted on our website, our Community Board 2 website. And that agenda indicates if you go to tonight's on the agenda, if you go to the agenda for tonight, and I think Donna just posted it again in our chat, you'll see that there are a number of items that are being put over to next month. Okay, and they have red line or red, they're in red and there are lines through them. We also will be calling the agenda items which don't have the lines in through them tonight, and those agenda items will be not called in order. So don't expect them to be called in order. We're going to be going out of turn a little bit here, simply because of the way things have gone. There are also people that were here last month on applications, so I'm going to try to take them early. So the one thing I ask tonight is that if you speak, whether you're an applicant or you're someone from the public, anyone at all that would like to be heard tonight, that you do so in a nice, gentle, peaceful manner. We all understand that this is a passionate, it's important, it's passionate for many of you. It's just, you know, when you see yourself going a little astray, bring yourself back, that's all. Be as gentle as you can with your conversation and the words that you choose. We would very much appreciate that. So the way it will work tonight is I will call items, applications for liquor licenses in our community board. They'll be called the applicants, and if the applicants have an attorney or a representative, you will raise your hand, your Zoom hand, so that we know you are here. We'll bring you up to become a panelist so that you can be heard and provide your application. When things are done in terms of the application, and we get to the point where after the questions of the committee might be asked, if you are in the public, whether you want to testify, if you want to speak on behalf of the application, whether you're for or against that application, you have an opinion and you would like to be heard, that I will then on each application indicate that time. And at that point, you raise your hand and we'll bring you up so you can be a panelist and let us know and let us know your position on the application. So just be patient. We will make sure that we get to everybody tonight and we will give everybody an opportunity to be heard. Okay. With that said, we're going to start tonight's agenda with an application that was heard last month, or at least it was put over from last month. Umuzi Sushi, DBA Sushi Lin at 33 Greenwich Avenue. If you're here on that application, please raise your hand. I'm just going to let you do it, Donna.
Hi, hello.
Hello, I see Mr. Lin, and just I think we're also waiting on Mr. Wang.
Jane Lin, right?
Yeah, just hold on a second, guys. We're almost there.
Yeah, hold on.
Mr. Wang is there. He just needs to unmute and turn on his video.
Yes. Yeah, you can hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you, Mr. Wang.
You can see me? Okay, sorry. You can see me? No, you can see me.
We got you now, Mr. Wang. And so, Mr. Wang and Mr. Lin, just so we're clear, this was put over for you folks to perform outreach with the neighbors that were here last month in the Block Association. And I got an email, and I believe you folks were copied on that email indicating that you had and that you folks have gotten together. So why don't you, we've heard the application once before. So why don't you say a little bit about what happened over the last 30 days and the meeting and what the agreements were, okay?
Okay, let me see. Okay. After the last meeting, I sent an email to the Black Association. They prepared stipulation for from the Black Association, and also they sent an email to me. We did review it and we did sign, and we reached agreement. So we will hire the sound engineer and to elevate the soundproof and they will install the soundproof before they open. But right now, they're still under construction. But they still planning, but definitely, so any, we leave the phone number for the committee board too, and for the Block Association. So any question, yeah, we definitely will resolve it, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Lin, we really appreciate you getting together with the Block Association and the people that live directly above the business. Certainly the process of having insulation or soundproofing was critical, and we appreciate that very much. So just so to go over things, I have hours that are Sunday 12 to 11, basically closing hours during the week, and on Sundays 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturdays 12 a.m. Midnight, and I don't have anything outside. I have so you know, if there's doors and windows, they'll be kept closed. There's soundproofing and sound tests that are taking place, and does that all make sense to you folks?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I really appreciate you getting together with the Block Association. So is there anybody from the committee that has any questions? The agreement I put into our Google folder, so you have a chance to look at it. It's right there. Donna, do you have something?
No, Katie has something and she's up.
Go ahead. Yeah, Donna, just going forward, if you could see, I cannot see that Katie
Okay,
is raised.
yep.
Okay, thanks.
I just wanted to point out, I think there's a typo. Under maximum occupancy, you said 224. I think you have an extra 2 in there somehow, your application.
You want me to answer, or I can answer later? Okay, 246, this is not for the typo, because according to the CO, yeah, it's 246 or whatever the number there. But for the restaurant, only for 20 seats for capacity. So including employee is not over, definitely not over 28 person there. So we will apply for letter of no objection. And also you can see the 3 guy here. For last meeting, Dana asked for the, okay, how they can manage the place. So I asked them, the manager coming, this is the manager, this is the owner, leave Mr. Lin, and they hire a manager.
And I have 14 seats. That's okay. All right. Okay. And so if there's folks from the public, the Block Association that would like to be heard, now would be a good time to raise your hand.
Yep.
And thanks again for bringing everyone down, Mr. Lin.
Hi.
Nice. I'll let, Madeline, do you go first, or Robin, do you want to go first?
Let me go first.
ahead.
I want to thank the committee for its continuing service to our community. I want to thank Mr. Lin and Mr. Wang for working with us. We were able to negotiate a number of stipulations. They were sent to Community Board 2 along with the Word document for the stipulations. And as long as the applicant and those who are employees adhere to those stipulations, we will support this application.
Great, thank you, Robin, and thanks for doing all that work this last month. And I have Madeline Donovan. Go ahead, Madeline.
Hi.
Madeline.
Madeline, nice to meet
Madeline.
you. Yeah, so I live on 52 Carmine Street on the 2nd floor. And in past months, or especially during COVID, when guests of the beer store have come into the backyard.
Miss Donovan?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not that application.
Okay.
So I know which application.
Wrong application.
Yeah, no, hold on.
Okay.
I know the application you're interested in. It's the Carmine Street beer, okay?
Yeah.
And that application was put over till next month.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Okay.
I saw that flyer outside. Apologies.
No, but you need to keep an eye on our website because it was put over to next month and it will reappear. Our meeting is usually the first week of the month. So keep an eye on it. It's published. You have about a week before the meeting occurs. So just keep an eye on things. And there's also the Carmine Street Block Association. So if you send an email in to Florence, to our community board website, Florence Arenas, she will be able to connect you with the Carmine Street Block Association as well, which might be helpful to you on that
Yeah.
application.
That
Okay?
would be great. Thank you so much. And apologies again. I'll leave you guys to it.
No, but sincerely, send an email in, let us know who you are, and we will connect you with the Carmine Block Association, which is, they have also inquired about this particular application, okay?
Okay. And the website is just the cbmanhattan.cityofnewyork.us.
Yeah, Community Board number 2, Manhattan, okay?
All right. I really appreciate it.
You bet. It's nice to see you tonight, and thanks for coming in, okay?
See you soon. Bye.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, Donna, there's nobody else.
I'm muted. Robin.
Yeah, just
Sure.
Robin. Okay.
No,
Rob,
wait.
there's nobody else with you, right?
And Kate Quinn, Catherine
Oh.
Quinn.
Okay, good. Well, Catherine, when you're ready, let us know.
Okay, I just have a gratuitous, helpful point on the 33 Greenwich. I looked at the C of O, that larger number, the 246 is for the entire commercial first floor and not for this specific store. That's it.
Thank you. Yes, there's a number of storefronts there.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
And Leslie Clark now.
Go ahead, Ms. Clark.
Sorry, there you are. Thank you. I'm just here from West Village Residents Association to also endorse this agreement that Robin Felsher worked on so very hard with the applicant. And West Village Residents is also would support this, presuming, however, that the stipulations are incorporated into the application and in the license. Under those circumstances, West Village Residents supports it. And thank you for hearing this.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Okay, I think that's it. So Mr. Wang and Mr. Lin, thank you very much. I really appreciate the outreach. That was critical in this case. And you did what you needed to do. And just from our community board standpoint, it makes our lives so much easier when people get together and work things out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll forward the stipulations on to you, Mr. Wang, and we'll see you next month or something of that sort. Okay.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Bye-bye now.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is going to be the IFC Theaters, IFC Center at 323-327 Avenue of the Americas. This is a theater requesting a beer and wine license. If you're here on that application and the applicant, please raise your hand.
I just want to say one thing. Can people from the public that want to speak on an application not raise their hand until we call on the public so that I know it's just helpful for me raising people?
Thank you, Donna. Okay, so I have a Mr. Banco and a Mr. Sampson. John Banco and Maston Sampson, go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourselves or tell us what the application is about? I think we're pretty familiar with IFC, so go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, members. Good to see everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. My name is Maston Sampson. I represent the applicant IFC Theaters, LLC. I'm joined here by he is the Senior Vice President and General Manager. This is an application for a beer and wine license located at 323 6th Ave. The hours of operation are from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10:30 to 12 a.m. Friday and Saturday. I think it's important to highlight, so I don't think there's going to be any issues really with sound, given that it's a theater and has a lot of obviously sound protection. But they do have a very robust alcohol security plan, which requires they only sell 1 drink per ID. And all drinks must be in clear, basically clear containers so that they can be differentiated from other types of beverages that are served. There will be a manager on duty at all times to make sure that no one is overserved. There will be staff that repeatedly enters all theaters to make sure that no alcohol is being shared and everything is going well, obviously. So, you know, the applicant takes this very seriously, and you know, they're looking forward for the opportunity to be able to basically offer this additional convenience to patrons.
Right, okay. And so just from my vantage point is I think we've heard a number of these types of applications at other locations as well. And just in terms of one question had to do with this is not going to have anything to do with the back area on Cornelia Street. That nothing there is being affected, right? It's all in the front on 6th Avenue.
It's all within the building, within the, you know, the building that is, you know, currently and has been open to the public, you know, the existing theaters and lobby. This doesn't have anything to do with, you know, the undeveloped backyard area.
Okay. And I'll open it up to other members of the committee if they have any questions.
Bob, I do.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
Donna.
it's 1 drink per ID at a time? Is that how that works?
Yeah,
So-
that's correct.
So how then, other places said they're limiting people to maybe 2 drinks, or, you know, are you keeping track of how many drinks somebody is getting in any way, or you're just?
I mean,
overall?
we you know, we won't serve anyone who seems intoxicated. You know, all of my staff who will be serving or managing will be taking, you know, the online training, and we're, you know, planning on being as safe and conservative with this as we can. I don't know that we will be able to, you know, limit people to a number of drinks per visit, but given our very limited, I mean, given the way that movie theaters work and that people will come in and then they'll go sit in a theater for 2 hours and probably not want to get up in the middle. You know, I think that realistically, you know, by limiting people to 1 drink per ID at the, you know, at their visit to the concession stand, that will effectively limit most people to only be able to get 1 drink while they're on premises.
Okay, and then they get that drink and they take it to their seat. Is that correct? Is there a seating area by the drink area, or it's just a standing like concession stand?
I mean, we have the main lobby, and there's a second floor, small second floor lobby. Someone could sit in there while they're waiting for their movie, but there is not a bar area. There is not a, you know, I wish we had a more complicated application because we had so many great spaces to hold our people, but we don't. And so basically people will get their drink and in most cases go right into the theater because that's their only space to go to.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Donna. I don't see any other hands. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this particular application, please raise your hand.
Yes, there is.
Okay, great.
Leif Arnson.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, hi, everybody. Thank you. My question for this application is what happens to this if they're serving alcohol now while as movie theater, what happens if they were to leave the building and it was turned into some other ownership that wasn't doing theaters? Does the licensing is limited strictly to the theater business?
Yeah, this license is actually is specific to a theater business. So, and it's a beer and wine license. So if some other establishment wanted to turn the building into something different than a theater, that would be reviewed in a different way. It would be a new application, a new review. You could technically transfer a beer and wine license, but the transfer would have to be from theater to theater. It's not, you know,
Okay,
yeah, it's every time there's a new application at a new location, there is a new liquor license application. Sometimes there are transfers, but again, the transfers is like a new application.
okay, thank you. And my only other question was, is there any thought that this alcohol aspect of the theater could somehow make its way outside the building, out on the sidewalk?
Is that your last question? Because I don't want to.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for coming out. We'll make sure that that is answered.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Vanko. Do you want to answer that question?
Sure. You know, we understand that this is just an on-premise license. We are not selling or wanting to, or asking to, or looking to sell anything to go. You know, we will not, you know, not sell to people who aren't ticket holders and who aren't staying in the building while they have the cups. So there is no expectation that we'll have problems with anybody, you know, kind of coming in and trying to take stuff out, because they'd have to buy a ticket to get in there in the first place. So.
And Mr. Vanko, what is your position at the IFC?
I'm the Senior Vice President and General Manager of IFC Center, and I've been there since 2004. The theater opened in 2005.
Yeah, I recognize you. I can't remember if it was another application, but I definitely recognize you from the previously. So I want to thank you both for coming out. I don't see anyone else with their hand raised. We will be in touch with you, and we'll provide stipulations that are consistent with what your application is, okay?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next up is going to be the Village Square Pizza at 118 Christopher Street. This is an application for on-premise liquor license. If you could raise your hand if you're here on that application, please. You see anyone, Donna?
James Kwan.
Okay, got it.
Who is there. He just needs to turn on his video.
Mr. Kwan, if you could turn on your video.
Yes, I'm trying to figure that out right now.
No problem. You just so you know, you just muted yourself. Now you unmuted yourself, but just now it's just video.
Sorry. Is this on now?
No. Generally speaking, there's a place where you can turn on your video. It will say video and then mute. And it should be on your Zoom screen.
Is it working now?
It is not. We can
I'm
hear
sorry,
you.
I'm not sure. It's not giving me an option for it.
Okay, I think we're just gonna have to move forward without the video.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. So, Mr. Kwan, is there anybody else with you, or just you?
Just me.
Okay.
I hope that's okay.
Yes, that's fine. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and what the application is about there. There you go. Now we got you.
Sorry.
Okay, we got you now. So go ahead. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the application is? I think we're somewhat familiar with you because we remember your application, I think about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. So go
Yes.
ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is James Kwan. We opened up Village Square Pizza here in the West Village in 2020. We signed the lease before the pandemic, so we didn't exactly know what was going to happen. We had originally planned to open in March, but because of COVID and everything, we ended up opening in July. We had applied for the beer and wine license, which has been a big help. We wanted to try to do a little like speakeasy idea in a pizzeria to kind of try to raise revenue with everything going on, and try to help with the rising costs of everything. Also, we thought it might be a really fun idea for the community as well. We wanted to do something a little bit more like traditional, kind of bartenders and suspenders, kind of old school, idea, bringing back that old cocktail bar lounge vibe back, but in like a pizzeria. So it would be the same setting. We thought it'd be kind of like a nice New York setting.
Okay, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, and what are your current hours?
Right now we're open 12 to 10, Sunday through Thursday, and on Fridays and Saturdays we're open 12 to 12.
And you have seats outside on the street, is that correct?
Yes, we have the outdoor patio set up.
Okay, and how many seats, how many tables, and how many seats are in there?
There's 4 tables, 12 seats.
And do you have anything on the sidewalk? Anything set up on the sidewalk?
No, just the patio area on the street.
Okay, and then in terms of, so the plan is to continue to be the pizzeria, right?
Yes, the pizzeria would be the main idea. We want to do the speakeasy kind of like towards the end of the night, just to try to raise revenue a little bit because things have been a little tough. So
you sell specialty pizzas, and you also sell pizza by the slice. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's like a pizzeria with a counter. I mean, I've been in there. In terms of explaining the layout of it, it's a pizzeria where you can come in, you can order a slice, you can order a pizza, and then you have a pretty significant to-go element. Is that correct, or component?
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like your basic local pizzeria. We do have like it's kind of like an old school pizzeria, slice shop. Come and get slices, pies. You could eat in, grab a quick slice. We have like a little standing counter. There's a couple stools. It's basically like the pizzeria that I grew up with and kind of fell in love with. Like
Okay.
a quick grab kind of.
So when you were here the last time, I'm looking at your diagram that you submitted to us, and the diagram has basically a counter that goes all the way across. We had this big back and forth the last time on the beer and wine application because there was no bathroom and there was no access to a bathroom. Okay, I mean, there's still no bathroom there. You still can't get access to the bathroom, isn't that correct?
We allow access to the bathroom, at times. Sometimes, if it's, if it gets a little, recently it's been getting a little backed up. So, we had some issues with that, but we're getting that fixed.
When you say it's backed up, you're talking about the toilet itself?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, but is there signage telling patrons, hey, here's a bathroom, welcome to our place, here's a bathroom, telling them that there's actually a bathroom back there behind the counter?
No, we could add some signage.
Okay, and what about, you sent us these great photographs showing how you were going to design a way to get back, patrons could get back to the bathroom. You know, you were designing something, you had an architect come back or someone, you sent us all these photographs. Do you still have the passage, the aisleway that was designed?
Yes, one of them broke, but we have the other one.
Okay. Okay. That's it for me. Is there anybody from the committee that has any questions? I can't see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, are you serving beer and wine now?
Yes. Hi, Carter.
Because it's not legal to serve without a patron bathroom.
We do have a bathroom. We just had some issues.
Yeah, but it's through the kitchen. And I don't see any of those partitions aren't up anymore that you said separated the kitchen from walking to the bathroom.
Well, one broke, but we could get it back and running.
Yeah, but you told us that you would have it permanently.
It was on wheels.
I mean, you're not, yeah, but that's the whole point. It's sort of a joke workaround. You don't have a patron bathroom, and that's the #1 requirement for any license. And now you want an OP license and your bathroom doesn't work half the time, and you've taken out the fundamental requirement of having a patron bathroom.
We can
separated from the work area. So, I mean, you haven't done it, so I don't know why we're even entertaining the application, because you're already breaking the rules right now.
We can definitely add the partition back. It's just one had broke. That's all. We can get
the problem, Mr. Kwan, is you very good pizza. And it's so good that, you know, I actually came into the place myself to order a pizza. And when I came in, I asked to use the bathroom. There was no signage, and I was told there is no bathroom. You were not there. Your manager was there. So I'm just saying, you know, we're trying to beat around the point here, but that's clearly a problem. And it's a problem with the beer and wine. So I think that's something that you probably ought to fix. That makes the most sense, at least in terms of applying for any application in front of our committee. That's all. Okay.
No, definitely. I understand. We'll definitely be adding that partition. You know, we'll do whatever it takes. You know, whatever you guys think is needed.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, but
it's not
you're supposed to have it. Yeah, you're supposed to have it now.
Yeah. And there's a reason why you're required. You're required to have it because the whole concept of a beer and wine license or the service of alcohol for patrons is that they have a place to go to the bathroom when they're, you know, whether you're outside or you're inside, you have to have a place to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, anyway, enough said. So, is there anybody else from the committee have any questions? I don't see.
Katie does.
Thank you, Donna.
Sorry. I wanted to ask about, I have 4 issues. I wanted to ask about the outdoor seating. You stated in the application and here tonight, there are 4 tables and 12 seats, but I counted 6 tables on the picture that you sent. Was that an old picture or there were 12 seats?
That's probably just an old picture. When we first created the patio, the space was using the bar next door that wasn't originally there. So we had to split it in half.
Okay, and the customers pick up their drinks and take them to the seats? Is that how it operates?
I'm sorry?
That's what you said in your application. They're going to pick them up and take them to their seats. Is that true?
The drinks?
Yeah.
Yes, the idea would be just like how they order pizza, they would just order the drinks and, you know, take it to their seats.
And the landlord on your, there was some question about the landlord in some of the papers. And the landlord on the application is one entity, and the landlord on the landlord letter that you sent us is another. They're two different names. One begins with M and one begins with I. Do you know the relationship between those two entities?
As far as I know, our landlord, they just changed their name. They used to be called 9300 and now they're called Centennial.
Well, I don't remember either of those names on the application. Other names.
Our landlord is Centennial Properties. They own quite a few buildings in the area.
I'll
Are you done, Katie?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so Ms. Portonero came up with a pretty a good question. So in terms of the service outside, Mr. Kwan, you're actually supposed to have waiter service to the outside. You're supposed to actually serve people on the outside. People can't just get a drink at the counter and go out there. Okay.
Okay.
So that is another rule that is in place at the Liquor Authority where you could actually get into trouble if you do that. So
Wasn't aware of that.
yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up. Okay. I'm going to open it up to anyone from the public. If there's anybody here on this application from the public that would like to speak, now would be a good time to raise your hand.
Catherine Quinn is coming up.
Okay.
Hi, I seem to be having trouble with my internet connection. I'm also concerned about where it seems a very small place with wonderful pizza. I enjoyed very much, but hardly any place to serve a cocktail. And
Ms. Quinn, just 1 second. You kind of broke up there. Why don't you start again?
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I think it's my internet connection is the problem. What I'm saying is it's a lovely pizza slice place with very few seats. And it's hard for me to understand how it could support the service of alcohol indoors legally, of liquor. And normally I don't have a slice and a martini. So I just have a basic question. I also the bathroom on and on. But I did happen to research on the Department of Finance website, the owner of the building. And the owner of the building continues to be Stephen Croman entity, M&E Christopher LLC. And none of the names that the gentleman has mentioned as his landlord appear to be the owner of the space.
If I may address that.
Hold on, Mr. Kwan, hold on.
Got it.
So go ahead, Ms. Quinn. I just want to let you finish.
No, really, I'm done. I am concerned that the gentleman, the applicant, doesn't actually know who his landlord is.
Okay. I appreciate that very much, Ms. Quinn. Go ahead, Mr. Kwan. I think you wanted to respond to that. Go
Yes.
ahead.
So M&E Christopher is one of their LLCs. Centennial Properties is the property management group that we refer to in discussing all their properties. M&E Christopher is the LLC of Steve Croman's one of many buildings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, if I may again, but then your application is inaccurate. Your landlord is the Stephen Croman entity. And it is inaccurate to give the managing agent on your SLA application as your landlord.
Okay. I think
And the reason there may be this subterfuge is Mr. Croman has a very bad reputation as a landlord.
understood. Thank you very much for letting us know that. Mr. Kwan, if you want to respond, go right ahead.
I'm not here.
I think that's it. I'm not going to go back and forth again, but let's go ahead, Mr. Kwan.
I'm not here to talk about Mr. Croman's past. We're aware of it. I personally have not had any issues with him, so I can't speak to any of that. I'm aware he owns like 200 buildings and many in the area. I mean, that's just what he owns. We're just one of his many tenants, and I can't speak to any of his past actions. I'm just here to apply for the liquor license.
Thank you, Mr. Kwan. I appreciate it.
Bob, Katie, do you have anything else, or did you just not put your hand down?
Yeah, no, no, I wanted to follow up because on one of the applications we received, there was another name as the landlord, ICS America Company Limited. So just want to point out, I don't know.
That's my land. That's my land where I live. I think.
Oh, that's your residential landlord?
Yeah, I think I thought it was asking for my residential landlord.
Well, thank you for clearing that up.
If I miswrote that, or if that's what the application said, then that's probably just something I miswrote.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate that, Mr. Kwan. Thank you for coming down. There's one thing you can take away from tonight is that everybody has said one thing. You have very good pizza.
Thank you so much. That actually means a lot because especially coming from you guys, the community board, I really appreciate that. All I wanted to do is, my parents are immigrants from Korea, and from an immigrant, and especially an Asian immigrant family, they think a good job is to sit in front of a desk, in front of a computer, and that's what you're supposed to do your whole life. I took this, and I was in finance, and I was eating at my business partner's pizzeria every single day, and I kid you not, like I fell in love with it, and I told myself this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I was scared to tell my parents for the first few years. I didn't even tell my parents I owned a pizzeria until it finally kind of hit off a little bit, because I was worried about, what if it didn't go good, what if they were right, and all these questions that came up, and I just decided to, not everyone's dream is to have a pizzeria. I get it, but to me, that's I literally is something that I want to eat every day. I dream about it. I think about it all the time. All I do is think about this business and how I can elevate it. And honestly, it's, this store is everything to me. And, with the pandemic and everything, the foot traffic on Christopher Street, it wasn't exactly the same. I know that parade was great for businesses and stuff like that. So there's no complaints as of recently, but, with inflation and everything, we just thought being able to have the little speakeasy bar idea would be a fun idea, not only for the block and the neighborhood, but also a good way for us to raise revenue because, the rising rents and stuff like that. It's just something that we wanted to do to just raise more money and, try to stick around as long as possible. That's
and we appreciate that very much. I do think though that it makes sense to have it in a location that is conducive to an on-premise license and certainly one that has a bathroom as well. But be that as it may, we really appreciate you coming out.
So Dr. Smith has her hand raised. So
go ahead, Dr. Smith. I can see that. Go ahead.
But it's really not a question. I was just going to say, I love that story that you personalized, and good luck to you. And I'm happy that you decided independently to find your own passion, irrespective of what your parents expected. Good for you and good luck.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay, I think that does it. Thank you very much for coming out, and we will be in touch. Okay, Mr. Kwan?
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
You too. Next up is going to be something we heard last month. It's Puttery Manhattan. Puttery is at 446 West 14th Street. If you're here on that particular application, please raise your hand.
Good evening, everyone. I have several individuals with me. I just want to make sure that they're able to be raised to panelist and speak as well.
Yeah, no problem. Right now, I can tell you, Ms. Farina, is we have Rebecca Gass here.
Okay.
Michael Ciccone? No, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I can't. There's no way. I'm just going to say first names, Hannah and Paul. Okay.
Okay.
Michael, Hannah, Paul, Rebecca, and Lindsay. That makes it easy.
And Nicholas.
Nicholas. I'm looking for Nicholas. Hold on. I don't see Nicholas yet.
He does not have his video on, so that may be why you're not seeing him.
Hey, it's Nicholas. Hi.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
and then we have Ryan Gray. Is he also with you, Lindsay?
He is, yes. And I'm not sure if you mentioned Hannah, we were going to have somebody named Hannah with us as well.
Yeah, Anna's here.
Okay, I think that you have everyone then.
Okay, great. So just to capsulize things from last month, the issue really had to do with the rooftop, the hours on the rooftop, the music on the rooftop, and the TVs. And I believe you guys are willing to take away the TVs, but that the combination of the music and the rooftop, we were suggesting that there had to be a closure by 11 o'clock, and you asked for reconsideration on that. And so we're very glad to have you back. And why don't you go ahead and and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my recollection. That's my read on things, Ms. Farina. But you go ahead, introduce everybody, and we'll definitely listen to what you folks have to say.
Sure. Thank you very much for letting us come back. I do believe that's correct. The only issue that we were not able to resolve was the closing time for the rooftop area. I noticed on the agenda, it still was referencing live entertainment and DJs and things of that nature. But for the rooftop, we are just seeking background music. So since we last spoke with you, we were able to obtain a few letters of support, and we had a sound study conducted to give the community a bit more comfortability with our hours of operation. And before I turn things over to the rest of the team, I wanted to just address a couple of issues. The board previously indicated that if we were to accept the earlier closing time of 11 p.m. for the rooftop dining area, that we could always come back later after we were in business and put through a request for later hours with a hope to negotiate a later closing time. But when discussing this particular proposal with my client, it became clear that losing, that many hours off of the rooftop operations would be a financial detriment to their business. And they likely would not be able to move forward with their lease if they're not able to get this issue resolved with a later closing time for the roof. The likely outcome will be for them to find another location. I also wanted to note, in the sound study that we submitted, our location was compared to the currently licensed business known as Jimmy at the Modern House Hotel. The rooftop at Jimmy is 1,500 square feet in size, and their rooftop hours end at 1 a.m. Monday through Wednesday and 2 a.m. Thursday through Sunday. They provide entertainment level music, sometimes with a DJ and live entertainment, and they have a makeshift dance floor. In comparison, our location seems to be a bit more palatable to the community because, of course, we're going to have a much lower level of audio with only background music. And our proposed hours of operation would end earlier on Sundays through Wednesdays if we were to obtain the hours of operation that we had proposed initially. Hopefully, the board can show us some compassion with regard to the hours of operation because we're not directly adjacent to a residential area. The closest residences to our facility are 2 to 3 blocks away, depending on which direction you're facing. And it may be somewhat unwarranted to hold us to the same standard as a business that's in operation, which is directly adjacent to a residential area, because we would cause much less of a disturbance. And there are some locations which have been shown leniency in the past. 2 off the top of my head would be Jimmy, as in our sound study, and Brass Monkey. I will turn things over now to Mike so that he can discuss the sound study in a bit greater detail.
Good evening. Thank you for having us back. Lindsay described everything very well. We brought in a sound consultant and performed studies at our existing venues as well as at the rooftop in question. The results are that the intended sound that we're going to have on our rooftop will not contribute to or over the ambient sound of the areas of concern, which were highlighted as the High Line and a couple of street corners. Additionally, if you go out to the actual residential or nearest residential, we're far below any city requirements for decibel levels. So we have a pretty in-depth sound study. I'm sure there's questions. I'm going to give it to Ryan or give it to the community board to ask questions. But in our opinion, our sound, or not opinion, but by the report, our sound will not be audible above the ambient sounds of the street or the traffic or any other night conditions. So therefore, the hours of operation concerned with sound is really not factored into what should be our closing hours on the roof.
Okay, and then in terms of your sound study, did you take into consideration the numbers, the occupancy up there on the rooftop?
Yes, we have very similar venues in our dry shacks in Dallas and every location where we have a patio and a rooftop. We're similar.
Okay, so how are we able to equate? So the sound study was done in rooftops in Dallas or other locations that you folks operate in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we have one just north of Dallas in the Colony. We have one in Charlotte, and then we have one in Richmond, Virginia. And all three of those were surveyed, as well as we went and generated noise levels on the roof and took subsequent readings down at the Highline street level and corners.
And was there any sound study done on the rooftop in question?
Yes, we generated 80 decibels, I believe, on the roof and took the remaining decibel levels down on the Highline. And we would have, basically, if you go to page 4 of the study, it'll show you where the decibel levels will come in at the Highline, given an 80 decibel peak crowd activity. And it results in 55 decibels at the Highline, 54 decibels at 14th Street. And then the nearest residential, you're at 38. And then it stipulates the reference noise levels of ambient, what was monitored at 1 a.m. at night in that location, and they're below the ambient noise levels as well as below residential code.
Well, did you put up 130 people on the rooftop and then put on some music and then recorded that, figure it out that way? How are you? What was your standard, at least in terms of you created noise, that simulated noise of 130 people? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah,
I think we have Ryan with us. He's the sound engineer that conducted this study. He may be able to give a bit more color on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, good evening. To answer your question, we took it in several steps to come up with the results that are presented in the report that's been sent to you. So as Mike mentioned, the first step was to get an idea of what the Puttery's existing facilities generate in terms of noise. So there were studies conducted in the other cities at their outdoor components of their facilities to understand what type of noise levels are generated by their crowd in their music. Understanding New York City could generate a different type of environment with the type of crowd at the rooftop. We went to Jimmy to see what kind of a further extreme might be. Understanding from Puttery's program, they want to have background music, not entertainment level music. So it's a much quieter venue than that. But we use that as a benchmark of kind of an extreme. And came up based on our experience, what a good estimate for a maximum noise level would be based on the crowd size. So no, we didn't simulate the exact crowd. We didn't put 130 people on the rooftop, but based on our firm's experience and the measurements taken, we came up with an estimate of what that noise level would be. Then what we did is we actually took physical measurements at the site. There's two things we did. One, we took a very loud speaker and played a loud noise and measured the attenuation from the rooftop to the Highline as well as to the street level. So we found that there's about 25 decibels of reduction from the rooftop to the Highline. So that's how we were able to calculate what the noise level would be there and how much noise would be generated. The other thing that we did is we actually measured for a 24-hour period, well, less than 24-hour period, but an overnight period where we measured essentially the minimum ambient noise level in the neighborhood. And that hit around 60 decibels. So we're predicting roughly 55 decibels maximum during the peak activity, which would be lower than roughly the noise that you're getting from West Street nearby.
And the name Jenny keeps being mentioned. What is Jenny?
Oh, it's Jimmy, Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I'll let Ryan explain, but it is a rooftop bar that's attached to the Modern House Hotel, which is also within Community Board 2's district.
Modern House Hotel.
Yeah, it's in house, so it's modern, and then HAUS is how the rest of it is spelled. And it's at Grand and Thompson.
Okay, so you're talking about the hotel, okay, with the pool at the top, the one, I think I know which one you're talking about.
That's correct. There is a pool there.
They call the pool up there Jimmy's, that's the name of it now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because we are familiar with that location. I appreciate it. It wasn't certain which one you were talking about. Okay, so.
And they have a website if it's helpful, jimmysoho.com.
On it.
Right, I appreciate that. Okay.
Is that that's on the 13th or 14th floor, I think, right?
18.
The 18th floor. So what floor is yours on?
I believe it's our 5th level.
It would be the 4th.
Okay, and so what is, in terms of hours in music, I mean, what do you have a bottom line, Ms. Farina? In other words, I think we've indicated to you what we'd be willing to go. I think it's the problem here is the combination of music and the number of people up there and the hours. So, you know, if there can be compromise, either there be no music or an hour later or something of that sort. But I mean, there has to be you know, the combination of music and late night hours is what you know, that's the match. That's the issue, because you know, the music's up, people are louder, the music goes up even louder. This is not just, you know, music during the day or music at night, it's also music during the day too. So so what if you could give us your best bottom line, I would really appreciate that, I think.
Well, we were seeking midnight for during the week and 2 a.m. For the weekends originally. I mean, I'm hoping that we could go to 12:30, 1 a.m. for weekends.
And is that without music then?
For the folks at Drive Shack that are on this with me, are you holding?
That's the, you know, look, the hours and the music. So it's like, you know, if you want music, then, you know, that combination is really, you know, there's very few places that have music. The place right next door to you, there's no music, and people can help me. I just don't, off the top of my head, Genesis doesn't have music. I mean, we've been over this with a number of applications in that area, and the music was always the issue. Okay, it was, you know, hours are clearly an issue, but music is clearly, you know, that's what generates the problem. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, and this is to my client, to the various people that are attending with me. Are you holding firm that you would need music the entire time the rooftop is open, or are you able to keep the rooftop open and cease the background music perhaps by midnight or so? Would that be acceptable to you?
I would say, Miss Farina, it's probably not the best to try to figure it out now. If you folks want to discuss it, I mean, I really would like to hear from other members of the committee if they have any questions about this. Sure. I think that's a good idea, and then maybe go to the public if there's anybody in the public that would like to speak on this. I mean, we've gone back and forth on this. I just don't know if that makes more sense. It probably makes more sense for you folks to discuss it on your own and then let us know. But I do think it's that combination of music. So go ahead, Donna. I'm going to open it up to other members of the committee, then to the public, then we'll come back, okay?
Sure, thank you.
The sound travels from that area up and out all over the place and reverberates around a lot of buildings. So 130 people on a rooftop is going to create, especially at a entertainment venue like this, it's not a quiet sit down, formal dining area. It's a golf course entertainment venue, is going to have 130 people drinking and talking, is going to create a lot of noise. The music on top of that will make everybody speak louder. So that's even more noise. There is not really outdoor music permitted. There hasn't been recently in that district on rooftops. And certainly these other rooftops do not have 130 people on top of them. So the music is a huge problem in addition to the number of people up there, in my opinion.
Okay, no question there, but I think that was to make a point. Is there anybody else from the committee that would like to say anything? Okay. I mean, I think we already did when we indicated that last month. So is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this application? Please raise your hand now. Can you let me know, Donna? Thank you.
Darlene Lutz and Austin Neef.
Okay.
Darlene is up there.
I'm ready. Hi.
Go ahead, Darlene.
Hi, it's Darlene Lutz. I just wanted to give a little bit more detail since Jimmy's at the Modern House Hotel was brought up. As this committee knows, I wrote the MOU in 2007 for the liquor licensing on the entire hotel. And the roof is half interior, half exterior. There is no music permitted on the exterior of the hotel. If you went up there and you heard music outside, well, I might go over there and have a little chat, but that's where it stands. There have been experiments. I actually sent one recently that occurred there with outdoor music on the roof. That is never going to happen again. So that's where it stands. There is no music outdoors, period.
Thank you, Ms. Lutz. And we have someone else. I'm sorry, Donna.
Yeah, another screen. Austin Neef.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Austin.
hey guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. I wanted to speak to the music. I could be wrong, but I think that Lebain which is spelled L-E space B-A-I-N, and also I think maybe Brass Monkey, which are both nearby. I think they both have outdoor music into the late hours of the morning. So I just wanted to address that. And also to address, the fact that the property's been sitting there for quite a while. And, as someone who spends a decent amount of time, a member of the community, someone who spends a decent amount of time in that neighborhood, it's at the steps of the High Line. Obviously, for whatever reason, the landlord and a tenant have not been able to make sense of the rent. I don't really know the details, but certainly if these guys are saying that they can't make it work unless they can operate into the late hours of the morning or the early hours of the morning, then I would be in favor of this, and especially considering that the meatpacking is already known as quite a rowdy area as it is. I don't necessarily think that this is going to change anyone's opinion of the neighborhood or necessarily affect anyone in a negative way. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Austin. Okay.
Carter has his hand up.
Thank you, Don.
Just Austin, are you a broker on this space? Do you have any relationship to the building?
I have absolutely no relationship to the building. I know about this through a friend so I knew about Drive Shack through the article that was posted. And I know a friend I know the space through a friend. And I know, it's been vacant. Anyone who spends time in the neighborhood knows it's been vacant for a long time. So I heard through the friend that it was, the situation was in a little bit of hot water, and I wanted to join this meeting and sort of figure out why. And I'm familiar with Drive Shack and the puttery concept, like I said, and I was excited to see it, come into New York City. So it would be a shame if it was not, if it wasn't realized. So yeah, but I have absolutely nothing to gain either way, personally or financially. This is, I'm a member of the community.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to ask one, where do you live in the community roughly?
I don't live, close enough for it would affect me personally. I live in NoHo.
Okay.
So, I can't sit here and tell you
Okay.
that, that it would affect me either way, regardless, but I live in NoHo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think that does it. So I would say this, because the hours are very late and on the rooftop. So I think what you folks ought to do is you ought to discuss what it is that you're willing to do, what in terms of the bottom line, and we can then respond, because I don't see this being, I don't think this makes a whole lot of sense to try to negotiate. We've already kind of provided you with our opinion and our position. And so, in terms of changing that position, it has to be something that is, again, a reduction of music in some way to facilitate a later hour. I think the combination of those two things is really what we're looking at, and that's what we discussed before. So, Ms. Farina, I just, instead of going back and forth and trying to negotiate something here, I just think that's the best way to do it. And then we'll give you an opportunity to discuss it, and then, come back and let us know. We certainly appreciate you coming back. We understand the financial situation. We want to try to make this work, but at the same time, we've come across a lot of issues with rooftops in that area, and music seems to be the main problem. So, and we appreciate everything that you've done. So.
Sure. I did want to mention before we sign off, very quickly, we discussed amongst ourselves, and they said their best and final would be midnight with music. So I just wanted to mention that to you, and hopefully you'll find the sound study persuasive and the letters of support in considering this.
Okay, so midnight with music 7 days a week, is that?
Correct.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. That's very helpful to us. We will let you know, but thanks again, everyone, for coming down. All right, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is going to be Friggiamo LLC, Tutti Frutti at 120 Christopher Street. It's a tavern wine application. You could raise your hand if you're here on that application, please. Do we have someone, Donna?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Gina.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Are you here alone, Gina?
I'm here alone, yes.
Okay, so go ahead. Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and what the application is about.
Okay, so I'm the operations manager and I handle the day-to-day operations on this project. It's called Tutti Frutti, and it's a specialty Italian food, fast casual concept. The specialty being fried foods from Italy, very unique dishes that really haven't arrived here yet. The whole idea, the concept is to have also families, children as well. I see in the neighborhood, it's more and more becoming family oriented. So the idea of having this beer and wine license is just as an extra plus for whoever would like to sit down inside. We're going to have about 4 to 5 stools, so it's not much on the inside. So if someone wants to have a glass of wine, maybe with just, it's like fried food. So they're like the size of tapas. So it's not, you know, going to be anything big. If they just want to have a sit down outside, a conversation with their friend, that's the whole idea behind that. It's not really going to be like a bar or anything.
Okay,
We
yes.
also have, yes?
No, go ahead. You keep going. If you're not done, I won't let you finish.
Oh, no, I just wanted to explain, we have a bathroom. We built an ADA bathroom. We're planning on putting one of those ramps that we can, you know, because we can't keep it on all the time. It's one of the landmark buildings, and there's a step to move to get into the place. So we plan to add a ramp as well. If who would like to sit outside, we do have 4 tables, and one of the, I don't know what they call them in New York, the built spaces. So we would like to take over that space. It belongs to the restaurant next door, and we had a conversation with them, and we can add have 4 tables that are existing right now. It was a total of 8 chairs, I believe, and give that extra service for whoever would like to sit outside.
Okay, and you answered the question that I had was with the shed that is outside there. That shed, I mean, I went by it the other day. It looks like it's falling apart. So I don't, you know, have you seen that?
I was there. I cleaned it up. I mean, I was there. I just got in because we're still under construction. So I just got in right after the parade, and I saw and I cleaned it up myself. Yeah, I mean, we plan to keep that in nice, tidy order. I don't know what's going on there right now. As of this moment, like I said, we're still under construction, but we don't plan to keep it that way at all, the way you found it right now, not at all.
And so in terms of the actual people that are going to be in the license, I have Francisco and Claudia. Where are they?
Okay, so they're in Italy right now. The company is owned by a corporation, and they're operating from Italy. So I'm here doing the day-to-day operations.
And
Francesco should be coming in as a manager.
Okay, so Francesco is actually going to be living in New York?
Yes, and Claudia is the administrator of the company, but she won't be living in New York.
And why did you pick this location at 120 Christopher Street?
Well, they've searched for some time. We searched for some time, and this seemed like the right, you know, as the first restaurant here in the States, the size was good. It goes well with the concept. It was just, you know, we got kind of lucky as well, finding the space at the right price. We were able to, you know, build it out and, you know, reach an agreement with the property owner and design it as we like. And it was just kind of something that worked during that time.
Okay, and so you haven't opened up yet, but you're doing renovations now. So you're going to open up no matter what here. You're planning to open up, and you're just looking to have beer and wine component to your particular shop. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anybody else from the committee that have any questions? Go ahead, Donna.
The venting, since it's all fried food, and this was, I believe there was a dry cleaners there or a laundromat there before.
Yes.
So how are you going to be venting for this and soundproofing for this, for it being a restaurant?
Okay, so we're working on that right now. They're putting in a new venting, a vertical one. It's being put in, and it'll have everything. It has to be up to code, absolutely. So this is a part of our delays.
And then are they putting in soundproofing as well?
We don't plan on having, like, it's just a little bit of ambient music. It's not going to be like, it's soundproofing. I can't really answer that. I'm not sure, but also it's going to be very low ambient music.
Right. I guess more just because it's a restaurant too, with pots and pans, and it's a different noise.
Well, actually it's fried food. So we're going to be frying more than anything and making salad. So that's fresh. We don't have a stove. It's all electrical.
Okay, and then is there a takeout business with this?
We do plan to add a takeout. We're considering, yes, obviously we would like that. We're trying to figure out a way also because delivering fried food, there's this whole problem where it becomes soggy after a while. That's why it's something really that you eat right away as you pick up. And we don't want to gain a bad reputation for serving, soggy foods. It's supposed to be crunchy. So this is something that we're considering now. We would very much like to do delivery, but it's more of, so it's served in Italy, in Rome, it's served in a cone. They wrap like a butcher's type paper and they serve everything in a cone. So that was the whole idea. The concept is to bring that here to New York, where people would have their cones with a small fork and kind of they can eat it in the street walking. So we wanted to add that small little stool restaurant space and take advantage of the tables just to kind of build rapport with our customers. And, we didn't want it to be totally like a fast food where they're in and out. It's going to be a little bit of that, but we wanted to make it also homely and just create relationships with people in the neighborhood and be known.
Okay, and that's it for me. Thank you. Katie has her hand up.
Go ahead, Katie.
So on your application, it says how many exits and entrances, and I see that you kept saying 0. You think you want to, you have one exit and one entrance, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You have a door. So, and does it also say that you think that 30 people will fit in that space?
No, 30 people. I think that that's like the maximum, but we don't expect to have 30 people in there at once at all. I think comfortably 7 to 10. I don't foresee this. No.
Yes, very small. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And so, Gina, do you have a plan for the trash? Because what's your plan, at least in terms of disposal of trash?
We would like to work with a company, hire someone to take care of the trash.
Okay, but I guess what I'm thinking of is you're going to have, you're going to have, I mean, at least in terms of to go. What is the plan? At least you talked about sticks and things of that sort. I mean,
okay, yeah, I would have to find out the rules on that. If we can put bins, obviously we want to keep the neighborhood tidy, of course.
Okay.
So
I mean, if people are going outside and eating with the stuff,
Oh, well, we're going to have service at the table. So, I mean, our responsibility would be absolutely to keep everything tidy in that area. I would never allow anything. Anyway, it's also our reputation, the neighborhood that we're, a part of and representing. So it'll be our responsibility, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, like we would like to serve everyone. So including families, which I see it's more the neighborhood little by little. I see more children, more families. So we would like to include everyone.
You heard earlier, perhaps when we were discussing with the other gentleman about the service, because he's right next door to you, okay? And the actual service of alcohol outside has to be done by some sort of waiter, okay, or waitress service, okay? That is a rule that's required by the liquor authority, at least in terms of the service of the beer and wine, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and then in terms of hours, because what we ask, since you're new here, what we ask is that the business, because your hours are 10 p.m., okay? So 10 p.m. means, at least in terms of our agreements or our stipulations, that you're actually going to close right at 10 p.m. It doesn't mean that people are seated and that, I just want to make sure you understand that.
Close at 10 p.m.
Yeah, the stipulation agreement is yeah, the stipulation agreement that you're going to get from us is basically what you're saying you're going to be, okay?
Got it.
It will say, I'm not going to be a bar, I'm not going to be a nightclub, I'm not going to have dancing, things of those things. So it's designed to just say, to model what it is that you're doing, because we've had problems.
Has anyone ever been to Italy, Rome, maybe?
Yes, but
so it's that concept, and so they're not like this at all. They just like to sit down and chat and maybe have a glass of wine. So that's our idea behind it. We would to have something rowdy, and that's
I'm not suggesting you're going to have a rowdy.
Oh no,
place.
I know. I just want to assure everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to explain to you why we have this, okay?
I
That's all.
completely understand, and I did the outreach in the neighbor, and I spoke to our neighbors, the people in our buildings, and I understand the concerns, absolutely. I live in New York as well, so I get it, and we wouldn't want to come in and do anything to upset anyone. That would be bad for business as well.
And in terms of, your application does talk about a letter of no objection. So this place is going to need a letter of no objection that permits eating and drinking at this location. Did you understand that?
The letter of no objection?
Yeah.
I need to, no, I didn't read,
Okay.
I don't.
So on your application, so maybe, did you have a lawyer or some representative do the application?
We do, yes.
Okay, so that person will know what somebody put in LNO. That means in order to have, the service of alcohol or the service eating and drinking at this location, because it used to be a laundromat, was not for this purpose, okay? You're gonna need a letter of no objection from the building department that allows it, okay?
Okay.
That's a safety issue, okay?
Okay, got it.
I don't think you're gonna have a problem getting it,
I'll write that down.
but you're gonna need to get it because the liquor authority is going to require it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that will probably be in our stipulations as well. Okay. That's a safety issue
Sure.
that we want, because it's never been what you want it to be. Okay.
Sure, and I mean, if it's necessary, I heard someone earlier mention, if we need to take any like safety courses or anything like that, we're completely available to do so.
Yeah, no, this is a little different than that, but yes.
Oh, okay.
No problem. Okay. But it's something that we ask everybody to do. And it will be required at the liquor authority. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think that does it. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Raise your hand.
I don't see any hands.
Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
You bet. And like I said, so, if you have a lawyer, we will be providing the stipulations. If somebody is in Italy, they're going to need to sign the stipulations and get them back to us. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It can be done. It can be done via scan. Okay. It doesn't have to be done in actual, but we have to have that in place in the next 2 weeks. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Great, Gina. Thanks so much. And,
thank you, guys.
best of luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. I think we have one more application that's going to be Rajmar Holdings, DBA Hudson Bar and Books, 636 Hudson Street. If you are here on that application, please raise your Zoom hand so we can call on you, bring you up to the panel. Okay. I see. Yeah, we see you. Stacy, you're on mute though.
Is Tamden Dorji with your application? Stacy, you're muted.
Yeah, you have to unmute yourself, Ms. Weiss.
Okay. Okay, there we go. I think I'm unmuted.
Is Tamden Dorji part of this application?
Yes, he's here, and so is David Wilder.
Okay, David Wilder is up. He needs to accept being promoted to a panelist.
He's up. We
No.
got it.
Tamden Dorji is not up and keeps.
Sorry.
Probably having technical difficulties. Let me try calling him on the phone. Okay. Give me 1 second.
He's coming up now. He's coming up now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
And
Hi,
Bob,
there he
just, excuse me one second. We have one other application after this is Turks and
do.
Frogs.
Oh, I am so sorry. Ugh. Sorry about that, Turks and Frogs, my bad. Okay. Hold on, guys, you're next. Yeah, sorry, again, Osman, sorry about that. That was a mistake. We will be calling on you next. So hold tight. So I think we got everybody.
Yes,
Okay, so go ahead, Stacy.
yes. Good evening, everybody. I'm Stacy Weiss. I have David Wilder. He's the personal assistant, executive personal assistant to the owner, and I have Tamden Georgie, and he's general manager of the
Stacy,
premises.
Ms. Weiss.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're breaking up.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
probably my hair is in the way. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry
so
about that.
It's a microphone issue, so go ahead, try again.
Okay, yes, I have David Wilder. He's the executive assistant to the owner, and I have Tamden Georgie. He's the general manager of the location, and we're here to expand the. It's an alteration. They're expanding the premises to next door. What they want to do is, as you know, it's a smoking location, but they want to expand next door to increase the space for a non-smoking space. And what they're going to do is expand it through a hole in the wall, and they're going to have a non-smoking area. I think on the application, I tell you the size of the location, which increases the whole space to 1,333 square feet. The size now is currently 697. So it's going to be about double the size, approximately. It's going to include a basement space also. What's good about it, it's going to add a bathroom. It only has one bathroom now. The space will have a second bathroom. So that's a good thing. Also, they're not adding any bars except for a service bar. No second license or anything. So it's not going to be an additional license. Also, primary reason they want to do that is they have found that a lot of people don't smoke. And when they come to the premises, a lot of people come with a smoker and a non-smoker. And what's good about this space is the non-smoker could be next door while the smoker is in the smoking space. And so it could be enjoyable for both people, for both couples, for the couple or a group of people. And they're going to increase the menu, which is nice, but it can be enjoyable for everybody. The hours are going to be the same, obviously, in both sides. And let's see.
And the hours are what?
And what else? The hours are going to be the same that they have now currently. What are the hours you have now?
Yeah,
David? Tamden?
Yeah.
Tamden, what are the hours?
Yeah, Monday to Thursday, we open from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. And Friday to Saturday, we open from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Right, the hours aren't going to change.
And so we've Ms. Weiss, we've heard this application before fairly recently.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, you have.
The applicant or the actual licensee was here, but I don't see him here tonight. Why?
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. To be honest with you, I screwed up a little bit. He's away, he's out of the country. And what happened was I actually thought this was going to be on next week, to be honest with you. A lot of the community boards are not there here this week. Even the liquor authority didn't have the meeting today. And yesterday. And I really thought it was going to be on for next week. He's out of the country, my fault.
Is he coming back next week, or is he gone for the whole summer?
He's gone for a while. And so I really totally screwed this up, and I apologize for that. And so my bad on that one. And so that's, you know, like I said, the manager is here, and the assistant is here, and I'm sure we can answer all the questions that you have. And they did address, you know, I'm aware that there were some issues last time, and they never went to the liquor authority or anything. They went back to their, went back, and they addressed all those issues that you had brought up at the meeting, and I think they resolved them. And that's why they came to me, to let you know that they addressed them. And if you want to ask any questions about those issues, we can answer them. I believe they really did work on that.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry. So David is a manager in.
No, I'm the
David's
manager.
a personal assistant.
Personal assistant.
Temp is the yeah, he's the manager, the general manager. He's there all the time, and David is the personal assistant. To the owner. So I mean, they can answer the questions.
Okay, and what has changed? At least you're indicating that you made changes. What changes have taken place since the last time the application occurred here?
Right, there was an issue with the outside space. They went to DOT. They got everything approved. That was a big issue. They got the approval from DOT on that. They made sure it was down.
What outside space are we talking about?
There was the structure. There was an issue with the structure outside.
But there was a structure.
They got it to code.
Right, but there was a structure on the building itself.
There's no structure. They took that down.
Okay.
There's no structure attached. They took that down, and they got a new structure on the outside where it's supposed to be, out on the curb, outside the curb, and it's the code. And they got the license for that from DOT, so they straightened that out. There was some other issues with I have them here.
There were a lot of problems with ventilation. There's a ventilator that basically takes all the cigarette smoke and all the smoke from inside the premises and blows it out into the neighbors behind. That was another.
As far as David,
that would be something Ajay could answer since he's in the bar.
Okay.
I'm in the office more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have a ventilation system which takes all the smoke all the way to the roof. If you like, I can take a picture. I can send it to the all of you. And also inside the premises we have two big smoke eater which suck all the smokes and filter all the smokes. So I have recently, like in the past, I don't know, but now we have a guy who comes every 2 to 3 weeks to clean all the ventilation and clean all the smoke eaters. So far, I don't see any of my customers or anyone who complains about smoke or anything, because mostly people who sits in the bar, if my bar is smoky, people are not going to come to the bar. So
it's not the people in the bar. It's the people that live behind the bar, the people that live up on the rooftop behind the bar. So the ventilation system is pouring smoke into their window, and they were not even able to open their window. So it was a question of So my question is, have you gotten back to with those people to kind of figure out whether or not that's been fixed? The people that were here last time and very upset about the ventilation system.
No,
have there been any complaints? Have there been any complaints from those people? Have there been any complaints from those people?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. So one way to find that out is because the last time the application was here, the licensee was here as well, and there was definitely, their name was known. It was in the building right next door or right behind, and so I guess that would be something that could be fixed. And I don't know if it has been fixed, and that's why I'm bringing it up. And one way to fix it is to go and meet and see those people, to perform some outreach and find out whether or not the problem has been solved. That's one way to fix this issue.
And in addition to that, like on my petition, like the guy who signed the petition, he would just live just above the bar, right above our bar. And I spoke to him, he said, like, no, he don't see any problems, any smoke. I have talked to myself, to the person who lives above the bar, and I've said, like, do you guys have any problem with that? And he said, no, I have no any smoke issue or anything. And if anything, then any smoke issue, they will come to me or come to the bar. I just say, listen, I have some problem with smoke. So if there's any problem, then we go and fix. So far, I don't see any complaints or anything from the building. So I believe that's not an issue anymore.
Okay, and are you using the other storefront already?
No.
No, that it's not being used at all.
Okay,
It's closed up, it's locked up.
Is there a wall that has been created between the two spaces?
There used to be a
Sealed.
wall. We had one sliding door, which is sealed for now.
So have you obtained the permits in order to make the opening in the wall?
There was a smaller piece of plywood that we have to, between the partition, there's not a concrete wall or something. There was a piece of, partition with I believe it's a plywood or something. So we just made a one sliding door, but which is not in operation. We just closed and sealed for now.
Everything is sealed up. There's nothing there right now. It's all sealed.
And
They're not using it at all.
How do you plan to move forward with the application if the licensee is not even in the United States?
Well, we're not gonna. We'll wait till he comes back. I mean, we're just right now. We just want to get your blessing on it, and we'll hold on to it until he comes back. We're not going to move forward until he
He's
comes back.
away every 2 weeks. We have 3 bars in Europe. We have 2 in Prague in the Czech Republic and 1 in Warsaw. And he lives in Chelsea. He's been there since 1989. So New York is his home base, but he rotates every 2 weeks.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I guess, Stacy, if that's the case, then, I'm not sure. I mean, I have a feeling that there's going to be other members of this committee that are going to be interested in hearing from him as well. Since he was the one here last, he's the licensee. This is an alteration application. I understand it's great to have the manager. There's nothing wrong with the personal assistant. I appreciate that very much. But there were a lot of issues last time, and I think it behooves everyone to have the licensee here.
Well, I mean, are there anything specific that, I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't appear if we had to do it next month, but I mean, is there anything specific that you would want to hear from him other than the smoke issue? Because this way I can prepare.
I'll leave that to other people on the committee. But at the same time, it certainly would make a lot of sense to perform outreach with the people that came in. There were 2 sets of people that came in last time.
Okay.
One of people that lived across the street that were very upset with the noise that was coming from the front of the facility place. There were people outside very late at night. That's been an ongoing complaint. And then there was this exhaust system from behind that had basically created a situation where people could never open their window because of the system being pointed in such a way or close to where their windows were, their bedrooms and things of that sort. And so I think to a certain extent, we could probably help and try to facilitate that. It's awful difficult to do over the summer, but it could be facilitated so that he could actually reach out to them and perform some tests and find out whether the exhaust system is really improved and what changes have taken place. But I'm going to leave it. I'm going to open up to the committee. Because I think there are other people that probably would like to ask some questions too.
Can I ask a question before you open it up to them?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So there doesn't seem to be. It seems like they fixed the smoke situation, but of course we'll reach out to the people behind, because if they're having it taken care of every 2 to 3 weeks, that could have been the problem. It could have been backing up into the system. Now, as far as the noise is concerned, from what I understand, there were other places also, other bars nearby that are open also, that are open later than them. right next to them. So noise could be coming from other places. How do we know for a fact that it's all the noise is coming from them?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Because there's
okay,
people
so we
there
know
that
it's coming from them.
are
Okay.
on the sidewalk very late. And that was the problem. And that has been going on for years. So that was another major issue, in addition to the structure. So I'm glad to hear that the structure is down.
Yeah, it's down. Yeah.
So, but again, I'll leave it. Is there anybody from the committee that would like to, I see that Ms. Fitzgerald has indicated that she would like to hear from the applicant, but is there anybody that would like to say anything at this point? Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah. I just want you to go over the hours again. The application says there were two forms of the application. Sunday to Thursday, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. But I think I heard 3 a.m. So
Yeah,
what?
I'll explain that to you, Katie. So this is an alteration. The existing hours are 3 and 4 a.m. Okay, so that's on their current license. So an alteration is simply going to expand. So they can't have, if it's an alteration, it's not two separate licenses, it's gonna be one license. If the one license continues as an alteration, it's gotta be the same hours, unless they concede lower hours in this application. Say they could always come in with an alteration, say, we want this second storefront, but we're willing to have lesser hours. That's not what they're willing to do. They want to have the same hours. So that's,
Well, that
agree
isn't
with
what
you,
the application says.
I agree, the application says different hours, but ultimately that would have been something that would have cleared up. But they said it from the very beginning, so I didn't bring that up.
But it's in black and white, so I just I like those hours.
Yes, I
And
understand that.
it would help with that noise issue.
If may I?
Yes, I don't see anybody else in the committee, so go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, like, I don't know, gentleman who complained or someone complained from across the building, they said that noise coming from our side. Like, as our license allow us to open outdoor sitting till midnight, we close our outdoor sitting exactly at midnight. And weekend, we allow till 1 a.m. and we close exactly at 1 a.m. like everybody else. We are not just putting everybody's seats and everybody noise or something. And mostly our clientele is elderly people, like 40s, not the young people. They come with cigar, they don't make those kind of noise or something. They just come and sit and enjoy their cigar, enjoy their cocktail or wine. They're not the one who just make those kind of noise. And our music is smooth background music with jazz and stuff like that. We don't blast the music. We don't do all DJ types and everything like that. We just very soft music with, that's the whole concept of the bar.
Well, I go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, so are you still storing the motorcycles in the outdoor area?
No, ma'am. We took it out. We put it in the garage.
Or in the parking space next door? Okay,
Yeah.
And you are not using that space currently?
No,
Have you taken over the space?
Yes. No, we're not using the current space, but we're using the shade that we are allowed to have in our street.
Right.
They have a DOT permission. They build a shed in the street now.
Yeah,
They have a
no,
small shed.
I'm familiar with it. So the space next door that you want to go into, have you taken ownership of that space?
Yeah, I believe so.
They have a lease.
They
They
have
have
a
a
lease
lease
for
for
it. So it's set up, it's just not being used.
Yes.
Correct. It's sealed up. It's not being used at all.
So is the piano part of this application, or is the piano being removed?
Is piano just a part of decoration? We had it, so we just put it there as just a piece of decoration. If that's an issue, we can take it out anytime.
Well, your current diagram doesn't show a piano, it shows seats. So if you're going by the current diagram, there's the piano.
The piano was sitting in our storage, so we thought it's going to be a good idea to put as like the decorations. It's not for the people to play or singing or something. That's what is part of.
So my question would be, is it staying in there? Is your plan to have it stay in there, or is your plan to remove it?
If the board member have no problem, we'll like to keep it as a decoration. If not, then we can remove it.
Because your diagram shows seats where the piano is. That's what my question is. So either you're having less seating and you're having a piano, or you're having those seats and you're not having a piano.
Like either way, we
Well,
could.
let me answer that. The seats are going to stay the same. The number of seats aren't going to change, whether the piano's there or not.
Well, that doesn't work, Stacy, because the piano is located right by the window. If you look at the pictures that they sent, the piano is right by the window of the new space where there are seats on the diagram. So I'm just trying to look for an accurate representation of what they're intending to do there and to understand how the piano sits there and takes up seating, but yet nobody is playing the piano. So that.
Right, but it could be a decoration without they're going to have a set number of seats, whether the piano's there or not, though. I mean, they're not going to change the seats. If they take the piano out, they're not going to put more seats there. It's just not going
Exactly,
to change.
but right now what's on the diagram shows seats and doesn't show a piano. So if it just doesn't work, that's what I'm saying. You've got the diagram.
Okay, so they'll take,
I don't know.
all right,
just
so
let
they'll
me
take
finish.
out the piano.
Right, I mean, I'm just saying,
They'll
I don't
take
know,
it out.
Stacy, I don't know if you've been in the space or looked at the photographs they sent, but the piano is where the diagram shows seats currently.
Okay, so they'll take it out. They'll take it out.
The other question I have is how, I don't understand this has been in existence for a long time here. It's got a cigar license, which is a very special thing to be able to smoke in the city.
Yes.
So you're adding a no smoking area
Mhm.
with a
Yes.
door connecting the two spaces. It's one license, so the door will remain open. So how is the no smoking area not getting all the cigar smoke in it? That's my first question. My second question is, if I'm a party of 2 people or a party of 4 people, and half of those people don't smoke and don't want to be in a smoking environment, I don't understand why half the party would go in one half of your location and the other half of the party would go in the half of the location as presented. So if you could explain that would be helpful.
Reasonable. Okay, so you could put a curtain. A curtain would stop the smoke from going from one place into the other. I mean, it's not going to be completely stopped, but it'll prevent some of the smoke from traveling between it. Listen, if you go in there, you have to expect some smoke, right? Because you're with a smoker. Most likely, you're going to go in there with a smoker, your husband, your spouse, your partner, whatever. Maybe you don't want to sit in that space with the smoker. So maybe you want to go next door, maybe a couple of couples, maybe just the husbands and the wives, the husbands go smoke a cigar and the wives go sit over there, or the wives go smoke a cigar and the husband sits over there, whatever the case may be. But usually, you're with that smoker anyway. So you go on the other side, you're sitting there, you have something to eat, whatever it is. So that's one way to do it. You put a curtain between the two. So you could block some of the smoke, okay? So you go in there, they go in there, right? So that's one way. And then what was the second part of the question? The smoke with the curtain, that was one thing. And you asked another question.
Well, I
What
just,
was the other question?
they fold into each other. I don't understand how a group of people are going out together, yet they're splitting up, and it's cigar smoke. So that curtain isn't going to do anything. People have complained about the cigar smoke, which you're permitted to do. I'm not saying you're not. But for people who don't like cigar smoke, it's not just cigarette smoke. It's much stronger. People cross the street when they walk by to not smell it. So
but you're living with somebody who's smoking a cigar anyway. So it's not like you're going to stop it completely, but it's gonna cut it down a little bit. And you're not going there to spend the entire night. Maybe most likely going there maybe to have a little snack, and your husband's gonna go whatever, go smoke a cigar. This isn't a place where you're going to spend the entire evening unless you're by yourself and going to go smoke a cigar and hang out with your buddies or something. This, maybe you just want to stop by and have a cigar, and your wife says, ew, I don't want to have it. I don't want to sit in there. And they go next door. Yeah, you got the gist.
I think we got it. Unless there's somebody else. So
Carter has his hand up. I'm through.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Donna. So and I see Dr. Smith has a hand up too. So I guess what it comes down to is, are you going to put this over? Or are you, because we were going to want to hear, I've already saw from other members of our committee that we would like to hear from the applicant, the licensee himself. So then I'll let Carter and Dr. Smith go. But are we going to put this over, or are we going to try to make the decision now tonight?
Well, I don't mind hearing from some other people, and then, we can make a decision after we hear from what other members have to say. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. If anybody wants to ask us some more questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
No, but ultimately that's going to be the question. Okay, we can ask other questions, but that's gonna be the question. Are you gonna put it over, or do you want us to make a decision tonight?
Well, I mean,
Without him-
obviously it depends on what Carter and the other person asks us. I mean, if it's very negative, obviously we're gonna
All
want
right, go
to
ahead,
put it
Carter.
over.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's a history of problems here that date back to the inception of the license. And it's reflected in, you know, every couple years with renewal applications, sidewalk cafe issues, not adhering to outdoor seating, the hours are reduced because of noise. And, you know, that's why we need to hear from the applicant and the main principal. And the last time I was here, didn't go very well. And, you know, it would behoove him to come back if he's trying to, you know, you know, address any of the issues with the committee. And, you know, I don't, you know, I mean, this sounds like a bunch of nonsense of a split space, but, you know, I'll let other people here, you know, make their own judgments. You know, the rules here have a long history of just constantly being bent. So, you know, I think it's incumbent upon the principal to be here.
Dr. Smith?
Yes, while I agree that I'd like to have the principal here as well, I think it's important for us to also, Bob, know to find out for sure if the people who came and made the complaint about the smoke at the last, and when they were here last time, to be sure that they can prove to us that that issue has been resolved. I'd be very interested in knowing that as well.
I agree with you, Dr. Smith, and I would be willing to try to make that occur if we can figure that out. And if we can't, we'll let them know. But I agree with you, and that's why I brought that up.
If there are no issues, let me ask you something. If there are no issues with the smoke, which seems to be a very big problem, if there's no problem with the smoke, and I mean, what then?
You want to be open till 12
Yeah.
and 1 on the outside? You wonder why there's so many complaints there, okay? I'm just saying, it's like that you want to be open on the outside till 1 a.m. You're just asking for complaints. So I you know.
I mean, 12, everybody's
so
open,
simple.
everybody else is open on the outside till 12. I mean,
No,
that's
correct. That is definitely
No?
incorrect. Okay, so if
Okay,
we're gonna
well,
argue that,
what are the
fine.
outside, what are the
We'll
outside
take it on
hours?
another time. Do you want to put
what
this
are the
over?
out-
People?
No, I don't. What are
It's
the
like,
outside hours on?
there's still another application. The applicant on this application is not even here, okay? What is it
Okay.
that you would do?
I'm sorry, you broke up. I couldn't hear. I
What
couldn't
is
hear
it that
I'm
you would
sorry.
like to do?
I couldn't. So, well, if you want to speak to the applicant, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
right.
not he's not running away or hiding. He's definitely available. It's just he has a busy schedule. He has business in 3 countries, property in 4. So absolutely, he would be available
Yeah.
to speak to you and clarify any concerns you have. Absolutely.
So, all right, then you'll
Yeah.
then lay it over till next month. Send us an email.
Okay.
It will be on the first week of next month, and we'll hear from you then. But and if you
Okay.
can't make time, then we'll do it in September. It's as simple as that. Okay.
Okay, we're not averse to that. I mean, I just need to know what would be satisfactory as far as hours outside. I mean, what do most people have outside? I thought that
11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is the latest hours on the outside.
Okay.
And
Okay,
that way
11 o'clock.
that prevents the complaints from occurring.
Okay. Okay.
So-
No, I mean, I thought it was 12 o'clock on the outside. You know, that's what most, it's 11 o'clock on the outside. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll work with you guys. We're not looking to, to fight it. All right, 11 p.m. on the outside. Okay. And if the people behind them says there's no issues with the smoke and then they agree to do 11 o'clock, I mean, maybe we could work something out.
Those would be 2 major steps. in the
Okay.
right direction.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. We'll talk to the owner.
Thank
and
you.
See if we
So,
can work something out.
you need to send an email to Florence and just confirm.
Yeah, I will.
Over, okay?
Sure. Sure. No problem. We're willing to work with you guys.
Okay, Mr. Dorji, you wanted to say something before?
No, I'm good. I'm just, my concern is like, you said, like outdoor is 11, but when I just, we close at midnight, like as far as my sidewalk license, when we had it, it says that we can operate till midnight outside on weekdays. That's how we've been doing it.
You never came to our community board for an alteration to serve alcohol outside, never, okay? And that's the problem.
And I'm talking about prior to COVID, not during the COVID, after prior to COVID.
I'm
So,
just saying, you existed
I
before
agree
COVID,
with you.
and you were serving
We
alcohol.
very
out
much love to work with the community and,
Listen, let's talk about it later,
Yeah.
okay? Let's
So,
talk
I mean,
about it
I don't have
later.
I don't have a single alteration application that serve alcohol outside. So that would be, I'm just saying, this is why, you try to work things out. You try to work things out with your neighbors. And when you work things out with your neighbors, there's no complaints. You get work out. And I'm just saying, it's like, I'm being very straight with you as to what the problems are, okay? And the number one thing is the applicant needs to be here, the actual licensee on the alteration, unless the new application and it's not going to be the same person, okay? That's what this is. It's an alteration and the licensee needs to be here, okay?
Right, okay. We'll make it work.
May I just say one thing, Mr. Eli? We would encourage anyone who lives in the building to contact not only us, but the landlord at
It's not
Birchwood
just the building.
Properties to make us aware of any
The building.
smoke issues.
We'll have
Sorry?
to contact, we'll,
I will try to facilitate that, okay?
okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Oh, have them
Next-
have them write a letter have them write an email to the community board too, if there's a problem with the smoke
Okay.
or anything. Let, this way we're aware of it. We can do something about it. If we're not aware of it, we can't,
Resolution.
work on
It's in
that.
our resolution. The licensee clearly knows about it because we discussed it at length the last time that we all got together, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And he
All
heard
right.
from the people that
Well-
lived around there. So he heard it for himself. Unfortunately, none of
Okay.
the folks that are here tonight were here the last time, but many of us on this community board were there. Okay, so we do remember pretty clearly, okay? And we appreciate.
Yeah, I wasn't,
the construction was
wasn't
taken down
there,
on the
so-
sidewalk. We appreciate that. That was a move in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay, we really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Okay,
Yeah, all right. Let
Okay.
me work on it, okay? Let me work on it too, okay?
and thank you for coming
All
down, right?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for hearing us. All right, we'll make it work. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Okay, Turks and Frogs. If you're here, come on up, raise your hand.
Hello,
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi there. and
Mr.
I-
Ali, members of the community board and
Yes.
fellow neighbors, good evening.
Good evening.
And, I would like to start this conversation with many thanks to the members of the community board for taking your time and keeping our community wonderful. So I'm here to answer your questions. I'm the owner. I've been the owner of Turks and Frogs. I opened it up about 20 years ago. And it's under the same ownership and management for almost 20 years.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what your application is? What is it that you're asking us?
I would like to just apply for a full liquor license. I have three main reasons for it. Number one, there's been an increasing demand from our guests. Sometimes they like to have liquor instead of wine, and we couldn't really serve them that. I waited this long because next door I have a cocktail bar, which is called Orient Express. It's only 10 feet away. The door to door is 10 feet. It's right next door. But that place now is busy as well. And I just want to do it right. And the other reason is I always wanted to add grape-based spirits to Turks and Frogs menu, which would be basically cognac and Armagnac and maybe brandy. Our bar is very small. We can seat about 32 people. And the real bar itself is not designed for cocktails or anything, but I'd like to have on my top shelf maybe 8 or 10 grape-based spirits. And the third reason is we've been losing some business because there are so many wine bars in the neighborhood. I was the first one that opened up a wine bar in the West Village. But now they all call themselves wine bars, but they serve alcohol like hard liquor as well. And I just don't want to lose that edge. Like, you know, our rent has been raised up, and I mean, thanks to the state and the federal government for providing us with some funding. Otherwise, we couldn't have survived. I have 12 people on my payroll, and it's kind of getting more and more difficult actually to stay in business. These are the three main reasons why we want to upgrade our wine license to a full liquor license.
Okay. And so that was, so the question was, so the Orient Express is a separate business. I mean, it operates with a separate license. It has a separate, like, you know, I mean, it's a different business, right?
Mr. Ali, I opened up Orient Express as DBA Orient Express. The main company is Turks and Frogs LLC. It's literally next door, like 323 West 11th would be the wine bar, and 325 West 11th would be Orient Express. And I opened up Orient Express about 11 years ago.
What's the difference? What's the difference between the two? I understand there's a difference because one has on premise and the other does not. What are the differences in distinguishing characteristics?
Well, Orient Express is a kind of like a speakeasy style place that specializes in cocktails, and the interior decor and the ambiance is inspired by the Orient Express train's dining car from 1930s. Turks and Frogs Wine Bar only serves wine, and it has the theme of travel and like eclectic antiques from my travels. And it used to be my antique shop actually a long time ago, but so ambiance is different and their licenses are different, but they're under the same corporation and both places are owned by me.
And there's no operable windows on either of these facade on your facade, right? No. Okay, it's all fixed.
It's all fixed, yes.
Yeah.
It's a landmark building, and the windows are fixed, yes.
Okay, so nothing's really changing in terms of the interior.
Nothing's changing. Hours are not changing. I just want to do it right. Right now, everything is kind of very flexible in the air. Like people can even take drinks and go out, and we don't do that. But I just want to do it legally, and then I just want to do it right. And I mean, I know it's maybe financially, it may not make sense in the future. I have no idea how much liquor we're going to sell, but you know, I want to do it the right way.
In terms of, yeah, so in terms of the outside, you have a roadbed which is essentially shared between the two businesses.
Yes, we put a serving station in between to make that separation. We have about 4 or 5 tables on the Turks and Frogs side, and 4 or 5 tables on the Orient Express side.
Okay, and in terms of the hours on the exterior, I mean, you heard me before about 11 p.m. Your application, you're asking for later than that, and so, you know, I looked at that and I was like, well, that's awful late. And so, and then I saw also that there was some sort of speaker out there. The speakers are not permitted in the exterior areas. Okay, I think that's been made fairly clear. So I just, those are two things that stand out to me. Is that something that you could, is agreeable to you, that to close the outside by 11 o'clock and to take the speaker out.
Mr. Ali, maybe there's been a typo or a mistake because we do close at 11 currently.
Okay.
There's nobody after 11. If on the application, if it was filled out differently, I would apologize. It's not our intention. We close outside latest by 11 anyway. In terms of the speaker, we have a very small Bluetooth speaker. You can hardly hear it from even inside, but if that's an issue, we're more than happy to remove it. It's literally, I mean, I don't know. It's smaller than my iPhone, but if it's an issue,
I think it's what's important is consistency. So it's like everyone, well, they have a speaker, why can't I have a speaker?
Oh,
That type of thing. And speakers are not permitted. They're just not. You are in a really significant residential area as well. So I'm just saying.
I'm very well aware. I've been there for 20 years, and
I'm not saying you're getting complaints. I'm not suggesting that you're getting complaints. All I'm saying is I'm looking for some sort of consistency here. That's all.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, if I knew that they weren't allowed, it wouldn't be an issue. And most of the time, to be honest, we forget to turn it on anyway. But
okay,
it's not an issue for us.
I'm done with my questions. If there's anyone else on the committee that has any questions, now would be a good time.
Mar has her hand raised.
Go ahead, Mar.
Hi, Bob and Donna, just for clarification, is Aperol a spirit or is it covered under beer and wine?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I would like to answer this question.
Hold on, Yasin, hold on a second. I'm sorry.
Oh, something.
Mark, you broke up and I didn't hear what you're asking. So if you could do it again.
I said, is Aperol a spirit or is it covered under beer and wine?
Okay, that's something that, go ahead, Yasin, you can answer.
Yes, I'm the manager for both Turks and Frogs and Orient Express bars. There's a very, very significant difference between the wines and spirits. Therefore, Aperol, Saint Germain, Campari kind of spirits contains less than 20% alcohol in it. Therefore, they are the items that we'll be able to serve under soft liquor license, which covers wines, sparkling items, and beers.
Is that correct, guys? Because I seem to remember an application that came in, somebody who wanted to upgrade to an OP specifically so they would be able to serve Aperol Spritz, which is a popular drink. And so I just want to make sure that that it is covered under beer and wine. Can we get absolute clarification on that from the committee chairs?
I'm not an expert in that, Mark. So
May
you're not
I
going
speak?
to get that answer from me.
May I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, as far as I know, just like Orhun was telling us, anything that's less than 20% alcohol by volume is considered is not considered wine, but it's you're allowed to serve it under the wine license. If it's over 20% alcohol level, then it's considered spirit, and then you need a full liquor license. Same thing with fortified wines like port wine. Some of them can be 20%, but you can't serve it because it's 20 and less alcohol level by volume.
So Mark, I can't answer that question. Is there anybody else in the committee that can say one or the other? Okay. I don't think so.
I have my hand up.
Katie, go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry, Mar, are you done?
Yeah.
Was that the one question you had?
Yeah, that was it.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Katie.
So I've tried to get on Street View. Is the outside area going to be roofed, or is it roofed? Is the outside?
We have built a structure, Miss Bordonaro, when we were allowed about 2 years ago. Yes, there's a roof on top of the shed.
And are you the ones that have sandbags too, or sandbags around the edge? Do I remember that?
I do not
Okay,
have
thank you.
sandbags around the edge, but we have a proper plastic barrier with water filled up inside.
Or no sandbags?
Sandbags
That's what's on?
sandbags are inside of the structure, but you cannot see them because they're in between the walls of the structure.
And are you asking for an 11:45 close on the outside?
Oh, no, he just said 11 p.m.
No,
Kate.
I guess it was a typo. We close at 11 right now outside.
Okay, I'm just making sure because that was written. Okay, thank you.
You're more than
Appreciate
welcome.
your
Ms.
answer.
Molinari. Of course.
Is there anyone else, Donna?
Not from the committee.
Okay, and so I'll if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this, now would be the time to raise your hand.
Okay, I have one person. Matthew Montoris Gore. And he is raised, so
Can you?
yes.
Okay.
But we can't see you, Matthew.
I was trying to get that to work, but is that necessary or?
It's fine if it doesn't work. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to speak up as a resident of the block. They are definitely open past 11. I've numerous times past midnight are there gatherings outside, and ever since the outdoor structures come up, that's gone on at greater length, and especially as the neighborhoods come back. It used to simply be the smokers who were outside. Now it's plenty of folks with drinks from the inside. I'm not saying they're still serving them outside. However, there are 10 bars with either full operating license or beer and wine within one block of that stretch of 11th Street on Perry and Bank, as well as Greenwich and Washington. And out of those, 7 of them are full license bars. I don't see the need to add to the neighborhood. It's a residential block. If people want that, there's the meatpacking district just north, and there's Hudson Street. And to his point about the wine bars in the area that apparently serve liquor, I do believe he's probably the only business that is open with those hours. Those other wine bars, I believe, do tend to close a bit earlier. And I myself have experienced numerous times of being disturbed by the noise from their restaurant or bar.
So Matthew,
Yes.
are you talking about a disturbance from the outside?
Correct. The sound from the.
Itself?
Go ahead.
Are you talking about the shed or just outside the shed?
Both the shed and outside in front, because they also have a few tables that are located in front of the windows that are on the sidewalk.
Okay, and would it make a difference, you think, if they were closed by 11? And when we indicate closed by 11, that means everything is removed and nobody left.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great, but I also just heard him attest to the fact that they are closed by 11, which is not correct. And I'm sure you could probably verify that with noise complaints.
Okay, and so what are you talking about recently, like the last week? What are you talking about?
Within the I mean, it's continual since the weather has become nice. It's regularly open past 11. There's regularly people outside congregated, both drinking and smoking, well into the night hours. And I don't see any lack of business or really any distinction in the shed between delineating which one is the wine bar section and which one is the cocktail section. They may in their mind have that set up that way, but I've never actually seen it go that way. And like I said, I've lived in the neighborhood for 23 years, so I predate the existence of both of his establishments. And with Orient Express, which is already a full bar and does plenty of business, and I think is probably the majority of what I see outside, I can't imagine increasing that to having a second bar operating on what is purely a residential block. They're the only businesses open that late.
So is this, so I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing one is an issue of trust, at least in terms of closing. But
For sure.
so if there was trust, at least in terms of if you were to assume that, and that it actually closed at 11. And what I mean by closing at 11, I mean nobody, lights out, it's dark. There's nobody in there anymore, okay? And there's no service. If that was to occur 7 days or 7 nights a week, would that be something that you think could work?
We're talking about the both inside and outdoors.
No, we're talking about the outdoors. The indoors are going to stay the same. The Turks and Frogs closes at midnight and 1 a.m. So it's different hours than Orient Express.
Right. I would think that it would still create the same issues because, like I said, the trust issue is having predated even their arrival to the neighborhood. I've watched what goes on and see. I'm out quite frequently and have encountered it on almost a nightly basis from Thursday through Saturday night. And I just think increasing it on, it's a great concept for another block. I just don't think that this block needs an additional full service bar when there's one next door. And if, closing at 11, I would like them just to be held to that. In general, it sounds like that's the general rule based on all establishments hearing the previous applicants. So as far as the 11 o'clock closure, that would be great. And I would like for that to just be enforced, but I don't think that that changes the outcome or my position on the idea of them receiving a full liquor license.
No, I'm just, the other thing, Matthew, is with the stipulations. So in other words, currently there's no stipulations on the outside area, okay? They're coming to our community and our community board asking for an application to change that, to add something, to make it better for them financially. And in response to that, they're gonna have to, in order to do that, they're gonna have to sign a stipulations agreement. That's an agreement that says that you have to close by 11 o'clock. If you don't close by 11 o'clock, if complaints are made about that to the liquor authority, they can actually come and penalize them. And they do.
Well, right.
And
And
they do.
I don't doubt that. I once again, I just don't feel that that kind of stipulation and the amount of time and effort it would take to get the intervention and eventually curtail that behavior based on what I've seen and the fact that they would allege that they're closed by 11 outside as it is something that, like, it doesn't change my position. So
I appreciate it very much, Matthew. And I appreciate you coming out and letting us know what's going on, okay?
You're welcome. I appreciate the time and I appreciate you guys hearing both the community and the principal's positions.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Dr. Smith has her hand raised, so.
Go ahead, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, thank you. This is for Matthew. Matthew, where do you live?
I live on 11th Street between Greenwich and Washington.
How close are you to?
Directly across the street from their location.
Okay, and you say you being there predates their coming. How many times have you actually made an official complaint about the business?
In the last year, at least 3 or 4.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
May I respond?
Yeah, no, of course. But Don, is there anybody else?
No.
Go ahead. Yes, you folks can definitely respond. Go ahead.
Mr. Ellie and members of the community board, I'm not aware of any complaints that were filed. We have no violations, no summons, no warnings from police department. I am underneath a very residential building with kids. Nobody from my building complained, currently officially complained about anything like that. I remember what you said in the beginning of this session, not with me, but beginning of the session, to be very polite and very gentle. And I'm gonna pick my words very carefully here. I've been in business for 20 years over there. I'm a member of the community. I have a place on 35 Bethune Street. We do everything that we can to be part of the community, be supportive of the community, but we sometimes have people or neighbors that have not very good intentions towards us for whatever reason, I don't know, and I cannot comment on that. This gentleman says that he lives right across from us. If he's the same Matthew, I made a police complaint about him. I called 911 because he insulted my 22-year-old son about a year and a half ago. I'm not sure exactly if that is the person, but we close at 11. I don't want to call him a liar, but I think this is not a very correct statement. But I don't want to get into any kind of argument. He said this, I said that. But if Turks and Frags or myself or my employees, if they had any disturbance, we would hear from the authorities so far, or you would hear from them. I just don't want to be held hostage because somebody that claims that he lives across the street says these things. I mean, I feel bad, and if he's not that person, I apologize. But I think if it's the same Matthew, I made a complaint about him, and police came and then took a statement.
Okay, but I guess that goes two ways, Osman. Two ways in terms of if the police had to come, that means there was a dispute, and there's a dispute because there's a problem, and that problem stems from perhaps you folks being open too late.
No,
So-
what happened? No, Mr. Ali, what happened was he wanted this person, if it's the same Matthew, wanted to be served after 11 o'clock. And then my son said that the place is closed. And then this person actually got mad. And then, like really, we had to call the cops for him.
Okay.
So there's no stipulation in terms, like whatever he's claiming, if he's the same person.
Well, we don't know if he is the same person.
I don't,
We
but
don't know that.
But all I know is
So-
my place doesn't stay open after 11. We have a switch inside, we turn off the lights. My place is, we can have 32 people inside. It's a conversation bar. It's a date place. We have a background music. And, but if there are any like legitimate concerns of the neighbors or complaints, I would address them to my staff and I would do everything I can. I'm not just an owner. I am there and I am part of the community. Like once again, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? I don't see anybody else. Okay.
I would like to add a couple words before we end up our conversation, if I may.
Bob, Yasin wants to speak on this too.
Go ahead, yes.
So much. As you may know, after the COVID opening, SLA and the Department of Traffic basically allowed their roadside dining areas with the limitation of closing at midnight, the latest. We took action 2 years ago accordingly, and we start serving outside on the roadside area according to this rule. And after some point, after the indoors opened up completely and the COVID regulations gets like a little bit softened up, we start to take like earlier action. At the beginning of the roadside structure situation, which I'm talking about September 2020 to last summer 2021, we were pushing towards like 11:30. And then nowadays, since the amount of people who's hanging out outside, it's like higher, we decided to take closing action, basically doing the last call around like 10:15, 10:30 in order to help people to wrap up their drinks to complete and leave the place before 11 p.m. That's our common rule because I'm the person who's in the operation directly, especially on Fridays and Saturdays. Therefore, 11 p.m. is our outdoor closure time. And after that, we are not serving anything whatsoever. Second thing that I'd like to add upon Mr. Matthews' comments Smoking are not permitted, as well as vaping as well. We are very, very careful about that. We have disclaimers on our website, on our Google page, on our menus about, we just give warning to the people who's basically there to smoke, there to vape. And there's no second warning. We just give their checks and basically ask them to leave, to not bother other customers who's not smoking anyway. So in the roadside structure area, in front, the tables in front of our store and indoor area, smoking is absolutely not permitted. And we are on top of this rule very, very strictly. Smoking is only happening on the sidewalk area, which basically in between our stores, and the roadside area, which is a public space, sidewalk area, sometimes like on the side of our building and our establishment, which whoever our customers stepping outside for smoking cigarette, we are always suggesting them to step a couple of feet away from our store, a couple of feet away from our service area, to not bother other customers. So, and again, we've been strictly on top of this rule. I personally strictly on top of this rule. I just want to mention that and make it clear.
Okay, so I'm just going to finish up with one last comment. So in terms of the stipulations that we have, in what we've been told from the Liquor Authority is that, this program on the outside currently is temporary. Okay, we don't know if it's going to be permanent, and if it is permanent, it probably won't involve sheds and things of that sort. It's probably going to be changed. So the reality here is that our stipulations say that for permanent, anything permanent in the road bed, you're going to have to come back with an alteration application. And the Liquor Authority has already said that. So all the outdoor areas that are here being used temporarily without a whole lot of guidance, rules, and regulations are going to, so you're going to have to come back at any point in the future. So when our stipulation says 11 p.m. and Matthew, if you're still here and you're listening to me, okay, there will be, if there is something permanent that's being requested out there, the opportunity will occur again, and you folks will be able to determine whether or not it's actually been 11 o'clock. So you have an opportunity, and hopefully the 11 o'clock closing actually resolves some of the dispute that currently exists. Okay, that's my take on it. All right, so I leave it on that. It's not permanent, it's temporary. That's what this, that's what our review is going to be, is on a temporary space in the road bed. Okay, so that, with no further ado, I think we're done. Thank you very much for coming out. I apologize.
Thank you so much for your time.
Well, I apologize for kicking you guys at the end of the process. I didn't even doing it.
Once again, Mr. Ellie, I want to thank everybody too, because I know this is a voluntary job, and you guys put so much time and effort, and I want to thank you for keeping our community and West Village neighborhood the way it is. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks, guys.
Once again, have a good night.
All right. Okay, everybody, I'm just going to we're going to take a break. That's all right. I appreciate it. We'll do 5 minutes. How's that? Okay, since it's 9 o'clock and we got a little time here. Thanks.
still on?
So I'm on.
Thank you. We're just so quiet.
I know. I'm just waiting for everybody else.
Okay. We had a little, I don't know if you know, there was a little glitch there and some of us fell off video, but we were able to listen on audio.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You and Mar got demoted, but I didn't hit, I raised people, but I didn't hit anything. So I'm not sure what
All
happened.
of a sudden, I don't know either. It's just one of those crazy things.
I didn't even notice.
But and then we came back by magic too, Donna. I mean, it was.
I promoted you, but once Mars said we got demoted, because I didn't realize when you texted me, Katie, that you were demoted. So once Mars said demoted, then I just went and looked at attendees and put you back up.
Okay. Well, it felt very magical to me. Is everybody back now?
I'm back.
I think so. Yeah. Mar, you're on?
I'm here.
Okay.
So what's the number today, Bob? How many we have?
Okay, so at the very beginning, I don't think, did we have you, Dr. Smith, at the first application?
I was on at 6:29.
Okay, so do you know which application you came in on?
I was here before the meeting
Oh,
started.
you were. I'm sorry, duh.
That's
duh.
okay.
Yeah,
You're getting
she
me
was.
mixed up with someone else.
Yeah, no, I do. Now actually I do remember you there. Okay, so.
Mar
so
came in late, I think. I'm not, Mar, when did?
Yes.
Yeah, like
So just Mar.
7:31.
Oh, Mar joined during the puttery.
Yeah, it was the puttery.
Okay, great.
And
All
we
right,
didn't
so,
hear Bleecker Enterprises at all, right? Little Charlie.
No, that was a mistake. That's a mistake. That I was actually heard at SLA 1.
Okay, thank you.
No, Bob, you're confusing it again. That was not heard at SLA 1. That was an application on tonight that they didn't submit anything. C as in Charlie was SLA 1.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
No.
That's
No. Little Charlie is not C as in
Not the
Charlie.
same. No, it's not the same.
There's two different ones.
It was 5
Right.
Bleecker. I went on 5
No.
Bleeckers.
No.
So this is 271 Bleecker.
I
It has
understand.
Charlie.
No, hold on, guys. Hold on. Unfortunately, the 5 Bleecker was put into SLA 2. I put it in by mistake myself. And then that's where the confusion was, is that it even though that was the wrong application, that was put into our Google Drive, okay, by mistake. So that's not with us. That was at SLA 1. The Bleecker, the other one, we never got an application on. That was
Okay.
the one. Bleecker Enterprises. There was nobody here tonight, and we got no questionnaire.
Bob, just for clarification, what is the number and who's on the committee SLA2? That's
Sure. So
so
tonight
that we can all be clear, because you give a number, but you don't give a name.
Yeah. Okay. So we had 6 tonight, but Mark came in a little bit later, so we're 5 at the first application. Okay. Up until Puttery, we had
Dr. Smith
5.
wants the names.
Oh, you want the names?
Just wants
That's
the name.
Katie, me, Donna, Susan, Dr. Smith,
And
It's
Mar.
Mar is 6, but Mar came in at a 7:30, so at Puttery. So we won't get to 6 until we get to Puttery.
And Cormac is not here.
Cormac is not here. He called
So
in
he's
sick.
not, right.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I forgot to mention that Cormac called in sick. Okay. All right, so the first one is Umuzi Sushi with stipulations. They got together with the Block Association, and all the problems were worked out as best as they could. Okay, so that's the 9 less, that one, number 1? Okay.
Yes, denying list 5-0.
Then we had the IFC Theater, which I think is pretty straightforward. We've had other applications, beer and wine, for theaters. And, okay, are we denying less on the theater as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Then we had Village Square Pizza. which
What's happening with the bathroom? What was the?
there is no bathroom,
thing-
Katie. There is no
I
bathroom. You
know.
can't get to it. There was never a bathroom. They never gave access to a bathroom. Their beer and wine, we probably made a mistake on the beer and wine.
We
because-
can't approve anything when they're in this condition.
No.
And I sent around the pictures that they submitted to us
The day after.
originally. I don't know what we were doing.
I
But
remember.
everybody who was on the
So much.
meeting at that time, I sent, including Brian and Valerie. I sent the pictures. It's
Yeah,
like
so
some
they-
floating plastic partitions. And the whole reason is the contamination of the work area. Patrons are not supposed to go into kitchen areas to protect the integrity of those. But unfortunately, this is one of those railroad type spaces where the restroom is in the rear. We obviously have all seen these and people are always surprised. In some cases, and I think that this came in a particular month where people had created corridors to go down to those bathrooms. And I don't know what we were thinking when we got this
Well, it was
plastic
right.
We
rolling.
made them come back. We
no,
made them
it's
come
blocked.
back. They
Right.
came and we made them come back. And then this is what they came up with.
And
so
we
it was-
we bent a little bit because it was COVID. He had opened up right before COVID, and he has a good story. He does, and but the problem is that the story goes only so far, and there's just no way. And a pizzeria, good pizza, but
And more importantly, they're not there anyway. I mean, they disappeared, right away.
yeah, Mr. Kwan, I've been there a number of times, and he's never been there. So, yeah, I think he owns another one too. So anyway, look, to me, this is a pretty straightforward deny. I think is everybody.
If there's no bathroom.
And Valerie has her hand up in case.
Go ahead, Val.
Hey, my camera isn't working. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I go in there at least once a week. I do see him in there, and there's the counter that goes up, like, is never open. I've never seen partitions in there. Like, I've gone in there at least once a week or every other week.
Yeah, there's no sign that says "Welcome to our bathroom."
Yeah.
Our bathroom, which is in
Yeah,
our.
bathrooms for patrons only or anything like that. Like, I love their pizza and I love his story. But yeah, I've never seen any of, after that application went through, I've never seen anything.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Val.
And Bob, I looked on the stipulations form for the beer and wine, and it explicitly says they're supposed to post a sign.
Oh, I know. I wrote those
stipulations.
stipulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I put it in the Google Drive. Okay. All right. So I have
Carter,
5-0.
we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. What's that?
Carter was talking, but he
Oh, yeah,
was muted.
I pulled it up separately. I didn't see it in the drive. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, I put it in the drive. Okay. So 5-0. Okay.
5-0.
All right.
And the
Next.
vote is what? The vote is denial?
Yes.
Denied. Okay.
Kind of proof.
Okay. So now this is where I got a little mixed. So the next one was Puttery.
Yes.
Okay. The next one was
Yeah.
Puttery. And let me just go back to my notes to make sure I have what. And for all of you that were here last time, we had indicated to them, and I think I started the meeting out with 11 o'clock with music, background music. And again, the problem was always, you add music, makes it louder. People talk over the music. There's a lot of people up there. And so I'll just open it up to everybody on what they think. But ultimately, I think they said 12:30 on the weekends.
I thought it was 12 midnight, 7 days
7 days a week with music.
with music.
Midnight plus music 7 days a week is what my notes are. Sorry. Okay.
And I just wanted to correct that during the meeting. I researched and went back to a couple of the places that they mentioned. All of them are prohibited from having music outdoors. So, whether it's the Jimmy, Brass Monkey, the examples that they bring up, and they're also you know, the issue that we raised to them was the overall contribution of outdoor music and loud noise in this particular area. And that, you know, we've learned over the years from the never ending complaints that go on, it's impossible to distinguish where music comes from. And, you know, and as a result, we've been pretty consistent with respect to music from our recommendations, you know, whether it be the Restoration Hardware Hotel, Restoration Hardware, the other car dealership, was it Genesis or I think, you know, and then I mentioned this to people before because of the specific type of landmarking in the meatpacking district. Almost every single building that is reconfigured or has some change results in exterior commercial space as a result of setbacks, which is unique to sort of the meatpacking district and the way that the development happens there. So the commercial use of rooftops and setbacks, you know, over time has consistently produced problems. And the problem places, there are a few have all been approved over our objection and yet continue to be problem places. So I just wanted to you know, be very clear about that you know, the concept of outdoor music is not something that is, you know, on rooftops is something that we have approved in any, I think, in the last decade.
Yeah, I would say that Jimmy's, I was a little mixed up with that, but they started out with, they have entertainment music up there, and I don't.
They have an interior built, you know, structure.
Yeah.
So they close the doors to the inside of the rooftop split structure, you know, it's not a rooftop. It's not a uniform rooftop.
Okay. And I wasn't familiar with Brass Monkey, but there are stipulations on Brass Monkey.
Yeah, there's no outdoor music, but, you know, they also, Brass Monkey had been open for many, many years. And when they came to us, they submitted, I think, over 300 letters in support. And we probably all know a good number of the actual people who wrote those letters, and he had operated for many, many years before there was any change there. And both his long-term manager, Marisol, and the owner, Sean, you know, are known to us, and he's very receptive to any issues, problems, resolving them, et cetera. So and then Laban, which is what the person who spoke from the public, that's, you know, another 20-story establishment. I didn't go look that up, but it's on the 20th floor. It's the tallest building in the area. And not only that, I think that they have pretty tall glass walls surrounding that structure as well. And I don't think it's the whole area. And Bob, if you remember, I think when we discussed that, Lois is not with us tonight, but that's where they also have a trained lifeguard on the interior for their small pool area on the inside of the top floor.
I do remember the rooftop of the Soho, what was it called? The Soho Mandarin, or remember that they had music up there, and that was like the 20th floor, and people were really complaining about that. But that's surrounded by a lot of residential. But those are my recollections of music on rooftops. But Genesis is right there.
It's right there.
Yeah. And,
I mean, and the Laban was gazillion years ago as well. I mean, it was one of the earlier places that was in there.
But what about so there is, so the Restoration Hardware, there's no music on the hotel, that right there, that hotel, no, it's a small hotel, boutique hotel, but then there is the main building, there's no music up there either.
There is on the store, and that was done after the fact, after we'd gone back and forth a couple of times with the liquor authority, but it was not something that we had done, but it also accompanied a reduction in hours, and that was imposed at the liquor authority as sort of their concession to the opposition. But that also if I remember correctly, was a restaurant wine application. Is that
Exactly.
the store?
It's a
So there's no public, the public interest standard is not the same. And the number of people and the noise is standing up, you just need to go, and having an exterior bar. You can go to the Whitney and you can look down on one problem place, which is not always full, but that's what's that place, Donna, that's on the block to the south and it has the rooftop. It's the
STK.
Yeah, STK. That there's music issues there. Catch, there are music issues.
It's
And
nowhere near the same number of people.
yeah, that's right. And it's significantly less. And if you want, for the number of people that you're talking about, just walk by the Standard Hotel's beer garden on the ground floor level. And, you can hear just the people there from a couple blocks away, and that's without the music. And what happens when you introduce the music is that people are even louder. And I don't, if they come back, I think that that's something that's very worthy of discussing after they've been open a year, but just addressing this, this is a constant issue, and it's the impact on the existing noise in the area is just something that's, I think is, we're not concerned with the interior of the operation here because it does not have an impact, but that rooftop is the lasting, that's the lasting problem that would exist. And, I don't think it's unreasonable asking them to close early. The comparisons that they keep raising are very tall hotels, of which this is not, and they're usually much smaller, or they've all been smaller spaces, and they're not in a neighborhood that has so many places with existing problems with noise.
What Susan, Mar, do you guys have anything that you want to say?
I feel like, they're making such a big deal about the idea that they can't stop at 11, that, they need it till 12. I really feel like we're dealing with a corporate sort of mentality where somebody is saying this is what they've decided and therefore this is the only way. They're not looking at themselves as though just because they've done it before in other places doesn't mean that they're looking at the unique nature of this situation. And it's just like, oh, we're reproducing our model again and again. And it's like, I feel like I'm just listening to sort of like they're in a corporate mode, and it's like, because the truth is, to stop the music at 11 is not a big concession, especially if they do stay open till midnight.
So that brings up, I'm sorry, did someone, go ahead, Donna.
It just seems that they really are not realizing the neighborhood that they're in and the issues with that and how the sound travels. Their letters, I think it was 3 letters in support, are from nobody that lives anywhere near the neighborhood at all. So I just don't think they understand. They're taking everything that works in Charlotte or Dallas or whatever and not coming to meatpacking and seeing what the issues are. The sound travels all over the place from that number of people, and adding in music on top of it is going to be problematic.
So before we said 11, so is there any further compromise? I mean, last time the recommendation was deny with a pass. Do we want to create more compromise? What do we want to do here?
Are we okay if we say the music is off at 11, but they close at 12?
I would say the music is the problem, is what I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that number of people is also the problem, but the music is for me,
it pushes it to a whole other level.
Yeah, it's a real problem, because to Carter's point, the beer garden, you can hear from blocks away with all these people on a ground level space. It travels all over, and it's just people.
What else is there? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, guys, remember too, that when they came and wanted the TVs up there and showing sports games, you know, the concept here is not that, you know, it's an accessory rooftop to an interior, whatever they're doing inside, which we don't have a problem with. The thing is, they want to bring that experience to the rooftop, and that's the issue. So you can't, we're inviting those problems, number one, until it's demonstrated that it's not a problem if the music is coming up, I think. And that's the number one problem, is noise and music, and having a reasonable standard, you know, because there are going to be other places that come along, you know, as well. We're just going to keep getting more and more, you know, a reasonable framework in which people can utilize their business. And I think that that's, you know, not any different than any other rear yards, outdoor spaces. And if anything, we're being generous given its location with those later hours of use. And I think that that's something that could be revisited, you know, if there's not an issue. But to approve it and then have a problem, and having, you know, the sheer size of it, and, you know, is really, and having an outdoor bar with standing around upstairs of that size. I mean, there's some, you know, that's where the impact is in my mind. And they certainly have the hours on the interior, you know, until 2 a.m. with which they can, you know, make up for any you know, late night business that they might want. And the main feature is that putting, which is on the inside, it's not on the rooftop. So you know, that's the main centerpiece, I guess.
Susan, did you want to?
I was just going to say, it's, you know, it's like a 1-2 on one. Yes, they got much bigger numbers than we're seeing outdoors in other places, but also the type of activity that they're promoting also creates simply a more boisterous crowd. These are not, they're not, you know, it's true they're not going to have the golf outdoors, but these are people who are, they're engaged, and they're going to tend to be more boisterous to begin with. So when you add that plus the numbers plus the music, it's like, it's just each one just builds on the others.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the compromise, which is different than what we said before. If we want to agree to 12, which is awful late, the music needs to be turned off before that. Because if you turn off the music, that tends to, I mean, that's.
It also starts the process of winding it down, which I think.
Yeah, I mean, but guys, just to be clear here, I just want to be clear that one of the things in this type of space, it's not just the evening, right? Typically, if you go to any of these thematic spaces, they are super crazy busy during brunch time on the weekends, through the afternoons, through the evenings. It is not just this sort of, you know, later night part where the issues are. And so that impact exists through the day with that size of the space. And that's hence the issues with the music. So
yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying, I think ultimately the compromise is to turn the music off. I think that is the most important thing. So to me, whether you turn the music off at 10 or 11, I mean, the closing at 12 gets them to where they want to be, but at the same time, I don't know. To me, that seems to be a reasonable compromise, and probably one that they could live with. But then again,
sorry.
What do you think, Dr. Smith?
No, I was just trying to figure out what you were.
What I'm saying is turn the music off by 11, or turn the music off.
I heard that, but my question was, are we then discussing to give them a pass if you're going to be reaching out?
No, well, No, yes, you go back to them and you say midnight, but the music has to be turned off by 11, or it has to be turned off by 10. That's something that we can go back to them, or we just go back to them with what we said last time, which is 11.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's it. They're willing to 12, and with music, I think you got to turn the music off before 12. You can't have music till 12.
I
So,
like what Susan, didn't Susan say 11?
yes.
Yes.
So just to be clear, that we're okay then with music on rooftops, because that's a huge change. I mean, I'm just saying, with an outdoor bar on a rooftop with
In a sports
180
venue.
occupancy in a sports venue, just, that's open all day long.
In
and
a
into the
tourist
evening.
area, it's gonna be crazy. I think it's a problem.
Well, I don't know any other compromise at this point. So we either go back to our original position, which was a compromise, which included music on the roof, or we have to have an alternative. Okay. And so we can't just say no music on the roof at this point. I think we could. I don't know if that would be a good response, but be it as it may, we could do that too. I'm just
Wait a
looking.
minute. We just had an applicant. We said you've got an outdoor applicant, no music, close at 11. That was
Yeah,
what,
but
that was
that's
what we just said.
a different location, Katie. That's
Yeah.
a different location.
I know, but I'm just talking about outdoor. You know what our position has been: no music, close at 11.
I just want to be clear. So there is currently, we do not have any rooftop spaces that have outdoor music. Is that correct?
All the spaces that have outdoor music are problems, and we stopped being okay with outdoor music, particularly in this area. Because and every time they've come back, nobody will ever undo the music.
Right.
Yeah.
And this venue is significantly larger in its size, just given the layout of the building, and the occupancy numbers for the rooftop than any of the other.
So the answer is then the response is midnight's okay, but no music. Right?
Yeah.
I just say, 11 during the week, midnights, and no music, and that's not prevent anybody from normal meal service, and as an accessory to an inside space. I mean, that's not, the outdoor seating is twice
I mean,
a normal.
that's a
venue.
more reasonable. That's a more reasonable response to me. Okay, from my vantage point. So I just want to try to finish this up. Dr. Smith, Mar, do you guys have anything?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that everybody said, and I don't think that the music shut off time is a big ask.
Well, now we're saying no music.
Yeah.
Oh, no music at all on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
yes, I did hear that. I think yes. Actually, I think yes. I agree.
So no music, but you can be open till 12. You're saying 11 and 12, Carter. 11 and 12, and no music.
Yeah, and I say that because if there's a problem with that, that's something that people can live with.
I think it's a good response. I really do. I think that's a good.
And they can come back and look. If they come back and it's all sorted out, it's fine. But they've got 3 other floors of spaces. They can do. If they came back, said we're gonna have a DJ, whatever, and the inside, whatever. That's inside. But it's the exterior rooftop that's the issue, because that's the impact, on and there is nothing there. So any impact on the noise is a significant increase on, what previously was there. And, and I think that we're okay with having a large, a very large venue opening up there, and conducting their business as they need to on the other floors. I mean, that's, and, I also bet they find that the majority of their business is coming at the earlier hours, and that they probably, like most other places, will end up shutting the interior earlier.
Bob, to move it along,
Yeah.
why don't you call the question?
Yeah, sure. So are we
Repeating
saying,
the same thing over.
we are. Are we saying midnight? Are we saying midnight and no music, or are we saying 11 and 12 and no music?
No music.
11
No
and 12,
music
no
at all.
music.
No
Hold
music.
on, one at a
So
time.
that we can be consistent. No
Say it
music.
again, Dr. Smith.
Okay.
I said no music at all, as I'm thinking, so that we can be consistent. However, being on the board at one time, we did allow music. And then, of course, at some point later on, we said no. And of course, I think it makes sense to not have, to be consistent with not allowing any music on the roof, outdoor spaces.
I think we got the no music. So the last question is, should it be 11 and 12 or just 12 across the board?
11 and 12.
11 and 12? Is everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's it. Okay. So
Yep.
we're okay. So let's move on. So I'll make an offer to them. Okay. And if they accept it, it's denied, unless if not, it's denied with a pass. Okay.
Denied. Okay. Yes.
Everybody in agreement on that?
Yes.
And Mar was, this is 6-0. Our number has gone up to 6-0 on this.
Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, which is after we did Puttery, we went to
Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti.
I
Tutti Frutti.
I think
Dolly?
that's Tutti Fritti.
Oh,
I think we
Fritti.
have-
Yes, you're right. Fritti's fried. Yes.
Yes, when she said it, I realized it. It's Fritti.
Okay.
He's so Fritti.
I'm just writing down my notes here for okay. All right, so I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. Is everybody okay with it? It's a previously unlicensed location, but they've already got the lease, and they're just looking to supplement their foods. I think it closes at 10 o'clock. So, we okay with this one? Seems that way to me. They were very honest and straightforward.
I don't really like it.
Yeah, it sounds like
It sounds like something nice and new.
somewhat eclectic compared to all this stuff that we get. Okay, so deny less, is that everybody deny less 6-0?
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I heard her say that there was seating for what, 4 or 5 people inside? Is that what it said? And then they're just going to do road bed? It seems like they took a restaurant that only seats 4 or 5 people and want to do outdoor seating on a block that's like on a corner. That block is so gross, even
Yeah,
though they
well,
say they're going to rebuild. But, and I'm not after the road bed seating. I'm just like, what kind of business model is that if you get a restaurant that only seats 4 or 5 people and then you don't want to do takeout? Like,
No, they are.
no,
But
they
they-
said they want to,
It's
but she's very
takeout.
concerned about the takeout because when you travel with fried foods, they get soggy and then they're worried about getting bad Yelp reviews and bad reputation for sending people soggy food, is exactly what she said.
Soggy.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, I just wanted to clarify, there's a difference between people walking out with the food and eating it, like, because it's a street food. That's what I think she anticipates a lot of the business being versus takeout as a delivery. And there's a lag time between the time it's ordered and the time it finally shows up. I think a lot of their customers are going to get the cone that they carry in their hand and eat it as they walk down the street.
And dropped all of their trash as they also go around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did someone else, Katie, did you want to say something?
But I was just going to say it's really much more of the walk and eat kind of situation. That's her vision, I think, because it comes in a little cone and you walk on the way to the park. You get off the subway at Christopher Street and you pass by the store and you pick up a snack and you walk on the way to the park. And there is a problem with the baskets, but Eric Botcher says he's sending us more baskets, and we have the new bid in that area, so.
Yeah.
She
That's
also
probably
said
going
that
on
this is how they do it in Italy.
Right. Oh, I gotta lower my hand, sorry.
Yeah, it's the
This
fifth
is
grade.
not
The
Italy.
fifth graders from PS3, it's just one half a block too far from their radius. They might actually be able to go, maybe not on Christopher Street, but anyway. Okay, so.
They actually have sorry, Bob, there's actually an open street there that is utilized by PS3 during the day and into the afternoon, I believe.
Yeah.
So there are kids on the street all day. On Bedford, not just on Grove.
Yeah. No, in the good old days, the fifth graders were allowed to go out to eat. You didn't have to eat in a little cafeteria there. And they had a radius where you could go, and it was pretty much a block and a half from the front door. Okay.
Carter's hand is up.
Carter?
I'm sorry, whose hand is up?
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carter.
I don't think anybody on here was when we did the little rat tour of with the Department of Sanitation. But this stretch is, the sidewalks are all cracked. There's a lot of if anybody walks down and looks there, sanitation people were pointing out all the problem, the rat problems on this particular stretch, because there's cracks in the sidewalks and the tree pits. And so having this kind of food that you're carrying to go in cones and not having trash cans and stuff falling is, it's sort of, I'm not necessarily against the application, but then, that tied together with Mars points that they wouldn't seek a beer and wine license at this location if they didn't have the outside seating. And it probably, as much as we were saying with Village Square Pizza, that they're not going to have table service at the front. And so there's a lot of little issues here that kind of tie in to, this is the type of storefront that is being licensed, that we're losing, a laundromat, and then suddenly there's outside eating, and then there's food, that's dropped all over the place. And, I throw that out there because I wouldn't have said anything until Mar really pointed that out, that there's no seats inside. But, this is the kind of business that I'm very concerned when whatever is solidified on the outdoor programs, that the business is based on that. And it has no interior seating. And, it's not necessarily a factor that we're reviewing, but I just pointed out that this is a spot that really takes away from the diversity of retail in the area. So, and just to your point, Bob, when you raised, about getting a letter of no objection, et cetera, it's also, a lot of the buildings on this spot are all Croman properties as well. It's just,
I know, but they've already signed the lease. They're going in there. They're gonna have the fried foods. It's coming. So they want to supplement that with the beer and wine. So I'm just saying it's going in, guys, and there's
But that's exactly it. Sorry.
Donna has a hand.
The one thing I was just gonna say is, I did the Google search and looked at their place in Italy and everything, and I think it sounds like a great concept, and they presented themselves very well. The beer and wine seems so ancillary to the food here, especially when you have 4 to 8 seats inside. And I know this isn't a grounds to stand on objecting to a beer and wine, but I don't understand why they need the beer and wine. This is more like a to-go thing. I am much more, I'm really concerned about the trash situation, actually, with what's going to happen with just people walking out of there and walking all over with the food. But I don't even understand why they need this license in this particular, case, because 5 people are going to be sitting, even with the outside, it's only another 4 or 5 people sitting outside to eat something that you kind of eat quickly and is not a sit down wait staff sort of food where somebody's sitting there for an hour having drinks. So I don't know why they actually need this license to have a successful business in this space. and we're taking an unlicensed space and licensing it.
Yep, we are. It's never pleasant to see that, but at
But
the
this
same.
is, this is, some of the
They're good.
spaces are actually coming in as sit-down restaurants. This is really a grab and go spot. So, you know, people aren't gonna, shouldn't, I mean, are they grabbing and going with their wine? Yeah.
Mar has her hand up.
Go ahead, Mar.
I
Thank you, Donna.
really, I don't have to say anything. Donna just said it all. Everything. Yes to everything Donna just said.
Okay.
Carter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is a block, actually, I think that would benefit many of these businesses if they removed the outdoor structures and opened it back up so it felt good, because many of these are the takeaway businesses. And, it's like Village Pizza, they're all obscured. You can't see them. You can't even cross the street here because you've got a, 100-foot long outdoor dining shed. And this is, an interesting part of what we're starting to see with some of this, is that it's, I don't know. I'd be curious to see. I'm not necessarily opposed to this, but I do think we should put in some of our comments on this. I have a feeling, down the road, this might be another issue similar to Village Pizza. We might have to revisit or something, or some aspect of it. So I think just highlighting that is important. But
Bob, can we call the question?
Sure.
I just want.
Katie has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Katie.
It's okay. I mean, it's a beer and wine license, so we should put in our comments, but we're not going to stop it, right? I mean, it's the train is going.
I agree with you, Katie.
Right.
But I like the fact that we have some comments to make about it. We have some admonitions. So we're not just comments, or admonitions.
So are we okay with denying less, guys?
Yeah.
Mar?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Kind of okay. Not really okay. All right, Dr. Smith?
I would say deny.
Deny. Okay.
It is a beer and wine, yeah.
Well, because it's beer and wine, I think some of us are floating denying less.
Yeah, well, everybody has a right to their opinion, of course. I'm sure you're.
Of course.
That.
Okay. So
Bob, can we say the objections I have down? Trash potential, the outdoor dining shed is a problem, it's large, and it's a busy street with a bus and a bike lane, and it's a previously unlicensed space. Those are three sort of objections that we have. Are there any others?
Yeah, I would also add to that their primary business is to go, and so I don't understand really how the beer and wine license enhances this type of business. And Kristen has her hand up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I almost feel like the request for the beer and wine has it's sort of like a cultural presumption. It's like, well, we serve our food and and Italians have a glass of wine with this and it's traditional. It's not so much a question, I don't know what it's like that you could get something and walk out with it in Rome. It may be a completely different standard than it is here.
If you look at sorry, Susan, if you look online, I saw one of their places in Italy had like a whole beer station. So it was more the beer than the wine from one of the pictures I saw, but.
Right. I don't know if the applicant was fully appreciating, it's like, yeah, you got to serve this stuff and it's got to be consumed on the premises.
Okay, so I'm going to try to nip it in the bud here. So I'm hearing 5 deny less and 1 deny. Is that right?
I think so.
Is that okay? Is that okay, Dr. Smith? So we have you, we're gonna put you down as deny, okay?
That was my vote.
Sounds good. Okay. I think the next one was Rajmar Holdings, which I think they agreed to lay over.
Yes.
But I think we need to vote just in case they don't. Right, they agreed to it, but they did, right? They agreed?
Yeah, she said they would come back.
Yeah.
But if we're going to vote, it's a deny.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
without the guy being
Of
here.
course.
So, okay, so we just have that in case that happens. But I suspect we'll get the email, okay?
Okay.
Then we went to
Turks and Frogs.
Turks and Frogs is next.
Turks and Frogs, thank you. Okay. What do you folks think about Turks and Frogs?
Interesting.
Thank you.
Could Bob, can you repeat the rationale for the upgrade, given that they had the license next door? Because I remember he said, well, people are asking for cocktails, but I didn't hear anything else.
Competition with other wine bars. Not having other wine bars having that right in the area, which is not necessarily true, but yes. And competition and the need to make more money as the rent is going up. And that he had been there for a long time. And he has proved himself as a good operator. Those are the things that I heard.
And he wanted to be able, what he specifically sort of said he wanted to serve was cognacs, armagnacs, those types of things.
Yeah, brandy. Yeah.
And I raise it because, you know, this, and I mentioned to you earlier, Bob, and I said, you know, I'm curious to hear what he had to say. You know, when we have two businesses next door to each other that are offering similar things, you know, they were distinguished from each other before or currently, but there's less distinguishing factors, and then places sort of start to blend together or run together. People are running back and forth. I don't know if that's the case here or not, but it just sort of raises some of those concerns with the distinguishing aspects of it. And I don't know if people, you know, what people heard or what they think. You know, this is not uncommon in this area, right? That the landlord, you know, somebody takes over the space next door, that they're there. I think I heard him say that the wine bar has been open 13 years, and then the place next door with the full liquor has been open 20.
He said 11 years.
11 years. Okay, 11 years. Yeah. So, you know, it was clearly to supplement his other business before, but now it's bringing it all up. So I just throwing it out there. I'm just a little concerned with the later hours and another OP on a residential block. So that's my, you know, it's distinguishing the two businesses from each other. And just to the point, you know, with the outdoor structure, it seems like it's, you know, that there's room, you know, who knows who's using which side. So.
We've run into things like that before. I agree.
Yeah, I saw the conflict because of the outdoor. I mean, look, the application did say 11:45. You know, I'm assuming that they were open past 11, simply because you connect the dots there. I was, you know, have I been there after 11? No, I haven't, but I'm sure it's open after 11. I just feel that way. The question becomes is 11, I mean, there were really no rules. There's really no rules in place with this outdoor seating. So you can kind of do what you want. So you know, it's just unfortunate that, to me, I think that's where if there is a conflict, that's where the major conflict is. I mean, if I lived in that block and I lived nearby, and all of a sudden there's a place outside that had never been outside before, and it's making noise, there's no doubt it's making noise. It's, you know, but.
You might not see my hand.
Yes, I was just gonna
Oh,
say.
I don't see it, Dr. Smith.
That's
You're right.
okay, no problem. My comment is to Carter's response. If you recall, Matthew mentioned that they were not able to distinguish, even in the outside, which business was which. If you would.
And I think they said they have a service bar delineating the two spaces, which is that not inappropriate to have a service bar outside in the roadbed? So right there, that's wrong. You're not supposed to have a service bar out there in the roadbed.
Is it a bar or a station? Let me look at this.
Service station, but you're not supposed to have a service station out in the roadbed either. Isn't that correct? Valerie, Carter, something, right? Yeah, I mean, you're muted, Carter, but Valerie?
You have to have a serving station?
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite outlined in the temporary program.
Okay, of course, because it's.
We're not allowed.
I mean,
cafes, I know that.
But I think the other thing is what is different, what is really different, forget the outside, what is differentiating the inside? I mean, you know, before you had one with the full OP, one is a wine bar, you're losing the wine bar now and having two basically very similar spaces right next to each other.
Well, the differentiation is the theme of the two.
There wasn't much, I didn't.
I'm just saying,
I know, but I didn't hear
Hold
that.
on, you asked the question. I'm giving you the answer. I'm not saying it's the right answer. I'm giving you the answer. Okay, and the hours. Those are the two distinguishing factors between the two places. That's it.
The other issue, and you know, this is sort of, you know, the conversation we're going to have going forward. This is a pre-existing non-conforming commercial use. It's zoned residential. It's R6. We've had an expansion into the outdoor area of outdoor seating. That's new. It's also noise. You know, when we start to look at some of the statutory requirements on the 500-foot rule type of situations in a residential area being outside and expansion, you know, these are where the problems are. And, you know, as we go again, we've got all these vacant spaces on the avenues that aren't currently licensed. And, you know, are we going to end up with a huge problem? And I'm not saying I'm necessarily against this. I didn't hear anything compelling though. And I think that, and I think that just having, you know, one neighbor raise these issues of the noise impacts and the sound and the outdoor structures and not really understanding what that's going to be going forward. You know, just those are all very real issues, particularly when the applicant has the business next door that already has an on-premise license. And, you know, we know that there's a lot of issues going on right now, et cetera. But it, you know, what are we left with, and what's the compelling argument? And it's that noise factor on the outside that, you know, again, becomes the issue for me. You know, it's I don't know. We're not getting applications for all these big vacant spaces on the avenues. You know, it's all the small spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody else want to say anything? Okay. So my take is my take is kind of how I ended the whole thing with if there are stipulations in place and it doesn't close at 11, is going to have to come back at some point in the future. And if it is indeed closing at 11 and he is saying what he's doing, what he says he's going to do, then, you know, closing at 11 on a temporary basis with the open restaurant program, I mean, it is kind of staring us in the face. There's nothing we can do about that. Does it reach the public interest standard? Probably not. But if it's going to be allowed in the future, then, you know, it's one of those things you just, you know, this is temporary, not permanent. So,
yeah, but Bob, the zoning text has been removed. That prohibits. I'm just, you know, that has the boundary areas, and you know that doesn't mean that because you can do it that there's not an impact on the noise, and that's clearly one of the main elements.
I agree, but if we were to say no, it would still exist. So and it would be past 11. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it makes it better or that that's the answer, but the reality here is that it's going to continue until this restaurant program actually gets fixed or is you know, put on the side. I don't know. Donna, go ahead.
I just want
I do think that that's the compromise.
I just want to ask the question is, you know, forgetting the road bed for a second, are we okay with the OP on the inside, right next to the OP next door?
I am, because I think he's been there a long time. I think that
Okay,
does prove. It's just, to me, this.
I'd like to hear, like, how does the rest of the committee feel about that? Because to me, that's the other part of the conversation is if we were removing the road bed from the conversation, how do people feel about the interior class change?
But Donna, he said that he had not received any complaints.
No, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just asking how other people
No,
feel.
no. I'm
That's
just responding to you asking the question. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. So Mar?
Honestly, the two restaurants already feel like one place. Patricia and I enjoyed some Aperol there last week and then immediately went next door and had some cute little vodka martinis. It feels like one place already. So it actually doesn't bother me.
Okay. Katie?
Well, even though he said there were no complaints, Matthew said that he had filed 3 or 4 complaints, but we don't have any record of them.
Well, we don't know. I didn't ask if the complaints were due to the outside. I was assuming that they were. And no, we don't have the 311 complaints. We could look it up. I'm sure there's a way to look it up. But I mean, I think he was credible. I think he was credible. I don't think there's some beef going on here between the two of them. I think he's credible. I do think he lives. There's a reason why he stayed at this meeting.
Right.
Because he lives across the street.
Right. Valerie has her hand up.
Oh, Val, go ahead.
Hey, so I mean, I don't know about other 311 complaints, but on May 24th, both Orient Express and Turks and Frogs received a non-compliant from DOT for open restaurants.
We know what was the non-compliant aspect. Valerie, does it tell us in these?
No, it unfortunately doesn't give us that much information. It just says that it's non-compliant.
Problem.
Also in the chat, Matthew just said that his complaint was the noise outside.
Very residential block. It's a very, you know, it's a densely residential block.
Yeah, I mean,
So I would turn around to Bob's point and just say, if you shut down the outside at 11, they get rid of the speaker that they're not supposed to have there.
And you know that they're going to have to come back.
And the stipulations, yeah.
And that way, I mean, you know, the stipulations do count.
Yeah.
And I think also if we do a deny unless, we should say, we should talk about the complaints and, our concerns, and we should, get on record about it. Because if he is coming back, then there'll be that. And
Your hand raised.
Okay.
Valerie, are you done? You have your hand still up. I just want to make sure.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Carter, no,
Carter.
Carter has his hand up now.
Okay. Okay.
So I just in thinking about this, I mean, I think that the longer term issue that I have more of a problem with is sort of the expansive outdoor aspect and the increase in noise that typically comes with a full liquor license, right? That's my issue, and that's the lasting implication of the license being issued. And I think that those outdoor seats, obviously the hours, but it's also having the seating just directly in front of the space, so that it's not one of the longer spread out ones. That's really the main issue. The amenity of having a few outdoor seats, as I've said to many people, on the sidewalk is one thing, but when you put it in the roadbed, you start having the numbers. Obviously, we've seen the preliminary plans. While they're not finalized, rooftops are not going to, probably be a part of the roadbed structures going forward from any of the plans so far that have been put forward. And that's where the noise is, and it is in a residential district. And so when it's spread out beyond, a couple tables and chairs, that's where the impact is. And that space is all free. So, at the moment, and it's been in place for quite some time. So I think that, my issue is the noise on the exterior and somehow mitigating that and bringing that footprint down. And that should, and if that's increasing the revenues on the inside, may not leave them ahead, but that was the lease that they signed, right, on the space. So that's just my main issue, is the noise on the outside in the residential areas when it spreads out, particularly spreads out beyond the storefront width. And we don't know what this noise impact will be.
Well, we know it's bad. It's not good. It can't be good because it was never there before. And I'm just saying, it's upsetting to people the later it gets, because they don't feel like there's any line in the sand. What I'm suggesting is there'll be a line in the sand with the stipulations. At least Matthew will know, okay? And anyone else who wants to know will know as well. There's solace in that. And so, Matthew, if you're out there, I'll give you my email and you can get in touch with me. We'll get you the stipulations. I'm just saying, I do think it makes sense in this case. I think it's worse if there are no stipulations. I think it's better if there are stipulations moving forward, especially for someone that's been there for a while, okay? And look, we don't know how this program is going to end out. I don't think many people in our neighborhood are happy with it, but it is what it is. And so I do think, to a certain extent, we're better off, especially with somebody who's been operating there for a while, to make sure that it coexists with the community as best that we can. So to me, it is deny unless with the stipulations. I just think that's our most important job as a SLA committee, is to try to make some sort of coexistence occur. And the guy's not leaving. He's not leaving. It's going to be there.
That's my vote, deny unless with steps.
I'm good with that.
Comfortable as that may be.
Good with that.
Okay. Is everybody in agreement? Does anyone disagree? Donna?
No.
No, okay. So I'm going to go deny unless with stipulations. And Matthew, my email, I'm going to give it to you because I think you're still here. You got a pen?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I'll put it in the chat.
Yes.
Hold on. Okay, hold on, Matthew. You're here. Okay, hold on. Here's my email. And then I'm going to connect you with our community board office, and we're going to get you the signed stipulations, okay? And you can be in touch with us. Get moving forward.
There you go.
Okay? robertely6@gmail.com, okay?
Matthew,
right.
let me know that you got it before I end the meeting, so you've taken it.
Just confirm you got it, Matthew, in the chat, if you don't mind. Okay. All right, guys.
Very good.
Long night, but
Great.
I think it was productive. And I'll let you know what happens with Puttery. Then we'll go from there.
It was manageable. This was a manageable meeting. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's we've been getting a lot of like layovers and stuff like that. It is
August is looking, so many people laid over to August. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. So.
Okay, you got it. Yeah.
All right,
Good
guys.
night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
And
guys.
Brian, if you want to talk, you should just give me a call, okay? I'd love to hear from you at some point. Oh, wait a sec. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Nope.
Sounds good.
I'm good.
Big hug to everybody. Have a good night.